How did the pod with LeBron come to fruition?
I've known Bron now like 24, 25 years. We saw each other in December with the folks on his side, had a conversation, and that got the ball rolling.
So he picked you or you picked him?
There's no good answer to that.
Yeah. Seems like there's a great answer. Was there any heckle that you laughed at?
During warm-ups, I had noticed there was a group of students sitting front row, and they had t-shirts with my picture on it. On the picture, it said, when I grow up, I want to name my kid JJ REDICK. So I went over before the game to get a closer look, and then they turned around, and it said, and beat him every day. Did you know that I recorded rap songs in college?
Is this a bar from you? I was the inspiration for Martin Luther King. I'm the reason Ray Charles can sing. That's bars,
That's kind of fire.
Was that you?
I wrote that. Yeah. White Chocolate was on this pod?
Yeah. White Chocolate was on the pod. He fucking killed it. But
he played Chocolate J.
Yeah, I played Chocolate J. Will.
This
One-on-one.
The Duke J. Will.
Yeah, Duke J. Will.
Yeah.
One-on-one.
And who won?
Come on, bro.
You won?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, you don't know the story?
I don't know the story.
I've never lost to an NBA player at basketball. I'm just telling you. So I've never lost.
Spotted him 6 in a game.
Listen, he gave. We had to, play till 7.
Okay.
But listen, he gave me 6. I didn't ask for 6. He gave me 6. His hubris got the best of him, and then I had to beat him. I had to hit him with a little crossover, teardrop. No big deal.
How many would you take from me? How many do I need to spot you?
In one-on-one?
Yeah.
No, I'll beat you straight up one-on-one. I'll beat you straight up I'll beat you straight up one-on-one. Because think about it, like Jay Will is, you know what I mean?
He's the best. The best player to come out of Duke ever, man.
No. Okay, look, what would I do? How would I handicap you? Okay, no, you can't shoot threes.
Oh, you're getting destroyed.
What? How?
Bro.
Going to the basket?
Remember my
What if I cookie you? It's just
going
cookies.
into my it was going into my junior year. No, going to my senior year of college.
Okay.
I had my girlfriend was she lived in Minneapolis, and so we were going to go to Big Sky for July 4th weekend. So I went to Minneapolis first, and so I grabbed her little brother. He was in like 6th grade at the time. I was like, I need a rebounder. So we went to her local
get them shots up.
LA Fitness, whatever it was. I don't remember. Get my shots up. And there's this guy fucking lurking over on the sideline. And I get done with my workout, and he comes up to me and he's like, man, I know you could shoot, but like I played D2. I bet I can beat you one-on-one. I need to see you take me off the dribble.
Yeah.
And I beat him 11-0.
Easy.
It's like, yeah.
With no threes.
Yeah.
It's like that Wayne Gretzky clip we just watched. You have no idea how athletic I am.
No. This is the thing that always
you're comparing me to LeBron and John Morant.
This is the really funny thing. Is it like you're an elite athlete, but because you have to play against LeBron, sometimes guys look at you and they're like, I think I could get a few points on JJ.
Right.
But that's not even close to the case.
No, that's racism. That's
what
we call racism.
Dude, you're a victim of racism.
No,
dude,
this is
all
racism.
the time.
You think you can beat him because he's white?
No, because I had a roommate who...
Dude, you're such a victim.
You think you can beat him because
Your
he's a
lack
white
of
guy,
privilege,
bro.
dude,
Come on.
for real.
What's the Scal thing? The Scal quote?
What is that?
Some guy, some fucking numbnut challenged him to a one-on-one, and he
Oh,
said,
Scalabrine.
He's like,
Yeah.
But he's like, dude, I'm closer to LeBron than you are to me.
Oh, yeah.
Destroyed the guy.
Yeah. No, obviously I think that you would smoke me. I mean, with Jason Williams, with chocolate Jay, we're gonna call him, with chocolate Jason Williams, he did have like his foot was hanging off or whatever because of the motorcycle accident.
Sure.
Jesus.
And that he has what's called a drop foot.
Yeah, I mean, the way you said it, though.
And why? Because I said it was hanging off. And it seemed more severe
Drop
than
foot
it
is
was.
pretty severe, actually.
It was really severe. And I was going at that foot. I was targeting the foot.
Guy's an animal.
Yeah, come on, I'm a competitor.
You still think you
I'm
can
a
beat
killer.
Caitlin Clark one-on-one?
Yeah, well, I do think I could beat any female basketball, but I don't want to take down the sport because they're doing so great and I love what's happening in female basketball. But I don't think, and I have a daughter.
Do you think that's true? Do you think he could take? Do you think he could take?
JJ, keep it a buck. Mind it a game, bro. Mind it a game. Mind it a game. Listen, just mind it.
You're not beating Caitlin Clark.
Did you see my paddle skills on my dragon net just out there? Are you telling me you don't think I could beat? Why? Because she's such a good shooter.
Me agreeing to come on this show. I knew I was going to get roped into some shit. I'm looking
over here for me. I'm like, I think I get a point on it. That's so racist.
No, but I had my roommate in college swore he could beat Eric Snow one-on-one, who was black. Remember Eric Snow from the Sixers? But he was like, I got Eric Snow. I was like, you're out of your fucking mind.
I get a point.
But Eric Snow, I don't know if I could beat, because he's so dense. You gotta,
And you mean black by dense.
Oh yeah,
right?
he's black. No, but it is fucked up. We gotta stop that.
We gotta stop what?
Racism.
Do you agree with that?
JJ, we have to stop racism
Do you
in
agree
America.
with that or not?
Now that it's affecting us, we gotta do something about it.
Oh my God.
Do you agree or no?
Do I agree?
We should stop racism.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh
Jesus,
my God.
dude, that's a fucking softball
Did
question.
you know that I recorded rap songs in college?
No, we have to hear these.
I think I
Okay,
have
we
a
might
couple
need to
of
bring
my
back
friends.
some racism. Hold on. We can't get rid of it completely. Hold on. We knew about the poetry.
Well, so the poetry was really just rap lyrics, right?
This is so interesting
That
how
is the
racism
whitest thing.
turns
That's
it from
the
rap to
whitest thing.
poetry.
That's
When
the
a black guy's a poet, he's a rapper. When a white guy's a rapper, he's a poet. Okay, break it down. Break it down.
Again, it wasn't good stuff. Like it wasn't good stuff.
I actually have some. I just want to point out.
Okay.
It's because they can't catch
From
their
you,
beat.
I have one of your raps.
But anyways, so I didn't have any of the tracks, right?
Yeah.
And the guy that I recorded with, who was black.
That was the issue.
Thank God.
He was
Yeah,
black.
yeah. Thank God,
But
yeah.
we would be in dorm rooms, like it was literally a
You guys were
headphone
allowed.
and a mic, right?
Were you allowed in the same dorm rooms down there?
Yeah, we were.
They did.
We
Wow.
were. That was like 1920. They got rid of that.
Did they? Oh, even at Duke?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But anyways, so a couple years ago, he's like, dude, I found the songs. And I'm like, send them to me. So he sends them to me. And this was 2003.
Okay.
And me and him did a song. It was an anti-racism song.
JJ.
People accuse me of being this woke guy. I'm the woke guy on ESPN. I'm like, nah, man. I've always been like that. I've always been
Do you have it? Can we listen to it?
That one I don't have on my phone. That one I don't
That
have.
one you don't. But
Wait,
you have
there's
others.
other raps that you have?
They're somewhere on my files somewhere. On
I
my
love
phone.
this.
JJ,
You've been
let
an
us
ally
get
since day
one.
one, dude. That's awesome.
Wait, I actually have to go find, because somebody did find some of F.A., who does phenomenal research for us, found one of your poems, which might be a rap. So maybe we even
Some
say
of
it.
them were more.
But here's the
poetic.
thing that I need to understand, because you were getting through, like, you were getting heckled like an insane amount when
Yeah,
you're at
yeah.
Duke, right? Like, you just become this like poster child for all the hatred. And I think Duke kind of represents, it's not only like a race thing. I think Duke represents like elitism,
For
right?
sure.
We look at them, we're like, oh, this is where all the money is, the power, the control.
Yeah.
And your face matched up with it, even though you're like a homeschooled kid from Virginia. He
Don't point when you said, when you pointed, it made it way more aggressive.
No, I'm just saying, it did.
Fucking,
Wow.
You know, coming from the guy with that haircut.
Listen, I'm just copying him. I'm just trying to support my boy.
The guy with that mustache. And that
Okay, but I do have one of the. So here's the thing: they're calling you gay nonstop, and then in order to combat that, you start writing poetry. Take us through that. Take us through that line of thinking.
It wasn't just like they.
Were you like,
so weird?
Maybe I am.
Think about this. So you know, NBA players, college players, high school players. When you like hit a shot, sometimes you hold your follow through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was this guy at NC State who
No.
publicly, in an article, said he holds his follow through like he's gay or something. And like,
That's a good line.
and like nothing happened.
The wrist is just a little too slow.
Nothing
Just a little
happened.
too
There was
slow.
no like, hey, we need to cancel that guy, or like it was just like, oh, that's what he
No,
said.
he does hold it.
Yeah, he is kind of gay the way he fucks doing his
Like
shot.
it was just different time. The worst though was like it wasn't. There was some stuff I was sensitive about. Like I had bad shoulder acne in college.
Oh, yeah.
And so like I remember going to a UVA game, and they had all these fake Duke #4 jerseys,
This
and
is
they
great.
had painted like red dots on the shoulders, right?
Damn.
And then like the shit at Maryland was like, you know, and Florida State too. Those two places were like talking about raping my 12-year-old sister, anally raping her, like all this stuff about
That's
my older
fucking
sisters and my
crazy.
mom. So like there was a lot that wasn't just like, oh, this dude's a douche. It was like really targeted stuff. And I think I may have done it. I think I did a thing for ESPN where I was like, to combat this, I started writing poetry. The reality is I was writing rap lyrics from the time I was like 14 years old. Okay. We used to go to like, I remember vividly, we would say basketball camp. We get done with the camp and we've got like 6 hours till like everybody's gonna go to bed and everybody's flying out the next morning. We're like, hey guys, should we go like cypher in the room? We just fucking freestyle in a battle rap.
You were saying this to other dudes.
Yeah.
At Duke,
oh yeah, so I was in a fraternity my first 2 years. We couldn't be in a real fraternity, so we came up with PDF, which was Phi Drink a 40.
Okay.
Phi Drink a 40. It was like 9 of us. We had like sick gear, you know, hoodies and shirts. Basically the fraternity's activities consisted of playing beer pong, getting drunk, going out to Chris Duhan's car, turning on like an instrumental beat, and then freestyling.
Oh yeah.
You're a better rapper than Chris Duhan.
Could Chris spit?
He was fine.
But you had him though.
Yeah, I had him.
Okay,
Yeah,
is this a bar from you? Just tell me if this tell me if this is a bar, okay? A sharp thorn once cut my soul, the blood flowed, but no bandage would ever cover the wound.
Is that rap or poetry?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I asked the Lord, what am I to do? He said, son, I made the sky blue. The rain falls because of me. Leaves change colors on a fall tree. I was the inspiration for Martin Luther King. I'm the reason Ray Charles can sing. I'm giving the strength to others through and through. And my son, I'll do the same for you. That's bars.
That's kind of fun. Yo, you're like a white DMX.
Was that you?
I wrote that.
You stuck the landing. I gotta be honest, you stuck the landing. I was really uncomfortable. You stuck the landing.
That religious one is fire,
So
bro.
diplomatic. I wrote that. Yep.
I wrote that.
Break down the MLK line.
No, you don't have to answer that. You don't have to answer
Come
that.
on, man.
The God can do all things, dog.
Objection.
It's very simple. If DMX spit it, you'd be like, it would have a few more N-words in it, and you'd be like, yo, that's hot.
Wasn't
Y'all
he
contributed to the racism by laughing that he's rapping.
Dude,
He's a
that's
white rapper.
That's bars right there,
Nah,
bro.
and I'm telling you, the
Stop
ending
laughing
got
at him.
That's bars right there, bro.
I was very uncomfortable
I'm
with
the
the
reason
ending.
Ray Charles can sing. I give it straight to others through and through. And my son, I'll do the same for you. I won't take away that back knee.
Be the reason Ray Charles could see. Like, why would you help him do that?
Yeah, that is a good point. Okay.
I shouldn't have done this.
Okay, so listen, you're coming off of right now. You got the biggest podcast on the planet. Of course, you came on here, so it won't see a second episode. Okay,
The first episode.
go. I mean, there's so much.
I don't know why, but there is something very funny about those lyrics.
Wait, you don't know why?
I can't stop laughing because of your delivery.
Hold on. Should I deliver it like you?
No.
Let me deliver it.
Do more emo. Do more emo.
I'm gonna deliver it like you back in the day. Ready?
Like a white boy.
I asked the Lord what I'm about to do. He said, son, I made the sky blue.
Okay, yeah, that was a rough one. That was rough. The ending was good.
Fuck.
You can't focus on the individual lines because then it really pops out at you.
Okay,
Wow.
what was the funniest heckle you ever got? Was there ever a heckle? I want people to understand, there's going to be younger people probably watching this. You were arguably the most famous non-NBA player in the world at the time.
Indisputably. Who else?
Who else?
Who else?
Non-NBA.
I'm sure there was somebody.
I'm sure there was somebody.
I'm sure there was
Great
somebody.
answer, dude.
Do you not remember what was happening at this time? It was
Sampras.
insane.
Oh, I remember
Yeah.
it vividly.
No, not NBA basketball player.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
basketball player.
Basketball.
Yeah, okay.
Like,
yeah, okay.
And one of the most recognizable figures, and this was at a time, I don't think it's as much now. The college game doesn't seem to
Yeah.
maintain the start. You went 4 years.
Yeah, and my draft class was the first year you couldn't come out of high school. So I was the end of college basketball. Not me personally, but I was the last guy to come out before everybody started the one and done thing.
Yes.
So Kevin Durant was right after me. 1 year, then he went out. to the NBA, and he would have come out of high school, right? He was good enough to come out of high school.
Yeah.
So that was part of it. It was still college basketball then. Now I don't know what it is.
Yeah. What is it now?
I don't know. Did you watch the UVA game last night?
No.
Oh.
Why?
They had 14 points in the first half. They went 9 minutes without scoring, and then 10 minutes later on in the game without making a field
This is the
goal.
women's game?
No, this was like a playing game. 2 10 seeds.
No.
Yeah. It was bad, man.
And what do you think it is? It's just there's no reason for the talent to stick around. They're not even thinking about it.
Maybe.
I don't think it's as G League as much. I think, truthfully, the one and done creates an environment where the best players are now one and done guys, and they never unpack their bags. Coach K used to always talk about unpacking your bags, right? Being all in.
Yeah.
Their mind's somewhere else. You don't get any continuity. The transfer portal now, like Duke, you know, we've gotten a couple transfer portal guys, but we still are playing like 18 and 19-year-old kids. And then NC State, like the guy that starred for NC State in the ACC tournament, is 24 years old.
He's a full-grown man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just, it's a weird game right now.
Well, have you spoken to Coach K about it at all?
About the NIL and the transfer portal stuff?
Yeah. Or just in general, college basketball. And like, is he like this new...
I don't think he's a fan.
Yeah.
But I don't think any coach is a fan.
Yeah, that makes sense.
How do you
They
feel?
all have to re-recruit every year.
Every year.
I got a kid, I recruit him in high school, he comes in, all right, now I got to re-recruit him so he doesn't accept a bag from whatever school.
Yeah.
It's totally different now.
Announcement. United Arab Emirates, not to be referred to as the Towels. The Chamakis have spoken, and your boy is coming back. They want more punishment. The Chamakis want more punishment, okay? I'm coming back. I will be out there May 22nd for another show in Abu Dhabi, the Etihad Arena. We are coming out there for Abu Dhabi Comedy Week, May 22nd. Okay, the pre-sale for those tickets. Remember, pre-sale went crazy last time. Show sold out on pre-sale, so get on this. The pre-sale for those tickets is Thursday, March 28th at 12 p.m. Towel time, not to be referred to as towel time, at 12 p.m. local time, okay? 12 p.m. local time. Password is Andrew. I will see you all there. Also, America, God bless you. I'm coming. Houston, April 5th. We added a late show in Charlotte, April 13th. Nashville, April 18th. Austin, the Moody Center, April 19th. And we added a late show in Phoenix, the Arizona Financial Theater, April 20th. I will see you all at theandrewschultz.com. More tickets, more shows on sale at my website. Go check out those cities. Let's get back to the show.
All right, guys, we're going to take a break real quick because I got to tell you about Gaslit. Keep watching it. Keep telling people to watch it. Hey, guys, I got 1.3 million subs. I love that. Thank you guys so much. You don't need to subscribe. What you need to do is watch it. Tell people if you like it. Tell everyone you know. Let's get these views fucking crazy. Gaslit on my YouTube. Also, there's Gaslit merch. If you enjoy the special on my website, you can find a link for Gaslit merch. And then a couple quick dates next week, I believe. Next weekend, April 11th through the 13th, Tempe, Arizona. April 18th through the 20th, Denver, Colorado. May 10th, LA, all sold out. There are tickets available for Tempe and Denver. But Gaslit, the special, guys, check it out. Thank you so much. 1.5 million views in 2 weeks is wonderful, but I want to keep that shit going. Thank you, guys. I love you. Let's get back to the show.
College basketball back in the day was so much more interesting, especially your era. So you get all this scrutiny. It's insane. They're saying all this crazy stuff. Is there anything funny that people say to you? Is there anything that, like, a heckle that you laughed at?
So the probably the worst, not the worst, because I didn't think it was that bad, but the same game that there were signs talking about anally raping my sister, who was 12. That was the same game where at the end of the game, the entire arena, I'm at the free throw line, we're up 5. I've got basically like the game sealing free throws. The entire arena is chanting, "Fuck you, JJ," right? Yeah. Fuck you, JJ. Wow. Fuck you, JJ. Like that. During warm-ups, I had noticed there was a group of students sitting front row, right at half court, and they had T-shirts with my picture on it.
Okay.
And on the picture, it said, when I grow up, I want to name my kid JJ REDICK. So I went over before the game to get a closer look, and then they turned around, and it said, "and beat him every day." Now, I would never condone any sort of child abuse, but that's clever.
Yeah.
That's clever. And so I make the free throws and I go over them at the end of the game and I'm like talking shit. I'm like, I need a t-shirt. Give me a fucking t-shirt like that. And coach he was furious.
Did it fire you up when they were talking the shit, or was there part of you that wanted to melt under the pressure of it?
No, I didn't want to melt at all. It was like my first 10 games at Duke. We had a bunch of home games. We played UCLA in Indy.
Yeah.
In like the Farmers Classic. I don't remember what the fuck it was called. Then we played Ohio State in Greensboro in the Big Ten ACC. And then we played all home games. So we come back from Christmas break and we go to Clemson. It's our first real road game and it's our first ACC game. And I come out for warm-ups and it's like, oh.
This is how.
Okay. I'm the guy that they've now chosen. I'm the next Duke guy they're going to hate. And I had 22 and 6 that game. It was not about melting. It was like, all right, you want me to be an asshole. Immaturity, but it was like, you want me to be an asshole, I'll be an asshole.
What I don't understand is how
some of it was deserved. I mean, I look back, there's a moment in the
That's
tournament.
why I want to ask, like,
where,
why were you getting so much hate?
We're playing Illinois. This is the year before they made the Final Four. We made the Final Four in 04. They made it in 05. So we're playing Illinois in the Sweet 16. And I hit a couple shots in the second half on Luther Head. And I'm like doing weird shit with my head. I'm bobbing my head. I'm doing this. I'm smiling and laughing. And
but you're not allowed to enjoy yourself because you're a white man playing basketball?
I think Steph changed it for us. I'm serious. Steph does that shit all the time.
Yeah.
Like, and everybody's cool with it, right?
It annoys me a little.
No, but there used to be, I mean.
There's not a single person who would say Steph Curry is annoying.
Yeah, I don't find him annoying.
You don't like him.
I love him.
I love Steph.
What are you talking about?
You hate his game. You've said this many times publicly.
You hate Steph Curry's game?
You love Kyrie's game.
This is blasphemy.
I don't understand what this role reversal is.
Yeah.
Did I say that? Did I say that?
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to
back
check
in
it.
the day, but
I'm gonna have to check the clips.
just
I don't know.
Back in the day,
Back in the day when we talked sports on the podcast.
yeah, you used to hate
That's
us.
the
What
last
did I
time we
say?
talked
What did I
about it.
say? I probably had a good argument. Go.
No, you just didn't like his game, that he was just all shooting and nothing else.
Oh, yeah, but the argument for me was that I can't shoot.
Yeah.
It was sarcasm. I can't shoot, so I don't like the fact that the game is now three-point shooting. I just go to the basket and I get buckets. So I like the guys who go to the basket and get buckets like Iverson, because that was how I played the game. Yeah. I'm like Allen Iverson more.
Wow.
But you did hate on him. Yeah.
I just love LeBron, and he's in the way of LeBron. And so I'm like, well, you kept LeBron from getting 4 more championships or whatever. So I've chosen to root against him. I'm sure he's an amazing guy, and he's good at every single thing he does.
Yeah.
I just get annoyed that the guy that I want to be the greatest ever could have probably 8 championships if it wasn't for the Warriors.
But you were saying he made celebrating okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. I'm wondering if there's anybody before
I feel
him.
like a lot of people
Yeah.
before him. Like all the
No, but it-
like
You had to be dunking and shit like that, I think is his point. Like being a shooter wasn't ever cool in our childhood. Name a cool 3-point shooter. Reggie Miller wasn't cool. I loved Reggie.
Miller was hated.
I
Reggie Miller
loved
did all
Reggie.
the shit.
Yeah,
he was hated.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But people hated Reggie.
Yeah.
So shooting wasn't cool
I didn't hate
until
Reggie.
Steph.
I loved
I loved Reggie.
Where do you get the
gentleman.
confidence though? That's what I'm trying to understand. Like, where do you get the confidence to handle that kind of hate and scrutiny?
Yeah, when you're 19 years
Yeah.
You know, I would say it was not confidence. There was the competitive part, which was very much easy. Like, I'm in the arena. I'm on a court doing what I love. That was easy. The confidence part, we haven't fully developed our egos at 18, 19 years old.
Yeah.
I don't think it was confidence at all. It was actually insecurity. And I had to start seeing it there. I saw a therapist every week for 3 years at Duke, from my sophomore year on. And it was because of like this whole notion. Like, I grew up a Duke fan. I wanted to go to Duke. 7 years old, I watched Leitner hit the shot. Mom and Dad, I'm gonna go play at Duke, right? I want to go to Duke. And I get to Duke and I'm like, oh, this shit's fucking hard, right? It's hard. Not only that part of it, the scrutiny, but playing at Duke was hard.
Yeah.
It was a mental fuck every
People
day.
get they bring you their A game every
like
day.
I got tested every single day.
For
For whatever. Body language, chewing gum, you're chewing gum. My senior year, I set the ACC scoring record against Temple, and they played a boxing one on me. They had a guy, Marty Collins, who I'd played USA basketball with the season before, and Marty was like, he's like, hey man, John Chaney said, you're not getting the record today. We're throwing the whole fucking kitchen sink at you. We're gonna play boxing one. I needed like 11 points, right? So I end up scoring like 13 or whatever it was. They played a boxing one the whole game. We win the game. We go to film session the next day. And occasionally in my career, when I would have a okay first half or a bad first half, I'd put a piece of gum in my mouth just to like change things up. It's like a superstition, right? And coach the next day in the film session stops early in the second half and he's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Chewing gum. Your head was not right. And I was like, was it that or was it the boxing one?
Yeah, it might be the boxing one. Yeah.
That. So it's like shit like that. It was just constant, right?
Yeah.
So through that process, I think ultimately it prepared me for the NBA because the NBA ended up being easy.
Did you?
You thought it was? Oh, sorry. Go.
Yeah. What was your reception when you first got to the NBA? You're coming from this school.
The NBA wasn't easy. I shouldn't say that. The NBA was easier.
Was there any friction with other players who were like, "Oh, that's this fucking cocky kid. I'm gonna humble him."
Yeah, for sure. My teammates.
Did they call you Milk? Were they like Milk? did they milk check you? That sometimes happens in football.
Did they milk check me?
What is that? I never heard
So
of
if there's like a white player out there, they're like milk, and then if there's a white like DB, for example, you yell at your quarterback, you go milk check, and then the quarterback looks and sees the guy guarding you is white, and then you just go long.
No, I didn't get that.
I never heard that.
You never got milk checked.
No, I mean I got like targeted.
Yeah, on defense.
Yeah,
Every single play.
no, not every single play, but like early in my career and then late in my career, I got targeted a lot.
Yeah.
And are your teammates going beyond normal rookie hazing because you're you, or is it just like? And what are they doing?
It was all normal. I like was late for a couple practices, and the second time, they tied me to a chair.
Normal.
With my clothes on and shoved me in a cold shower and then left me there.
This is in Orlando?
Yeah, this was in Orlando.
Who did Dwight stay in the shower with you?
I should have told you.
Shout out Dwight! Dwight's like, I have a great idea.
Honestly,
let's strip him naked and throw him in a shower.
The reason I say that it was easier though was because the Duke experience, whether it was just the scrutiny and the hatred, whatever you want to call it, and playing for Duke and the intensity of that day to day,
the spotlight.
It was like you get to the pros and it's like, okay, I know how to navigate these things now.
Yeah.
I'm well equipped to navigate the pressures and the competition and all the shit that comes with it.
And I guess you're not the biggest name in the NBA. You're the biggest name in the NCAA. But in the NBA, they got LeBron. They got
I didn't expect to
Kobe.
be. I didn't expect to be. I remember I was doing the 21 Underworld Championships in Argentina going into my senior year, and Hoops Hype wanted to talk to me, and one of the reporters wanted to talk to me, and so like the USA Basketball Comms person was like, "Can you get on the phone with this person?" And I remember them asking me about my expectation level for the NBA, and I started that was the same year I started taking Italian at Duke because I'd be like, it'd be cool to go play overseas. Like I didn't know expectation of like a long NBA career, and I was like, yeah, if I get to the next level, I don't expect to be a star. I'll be a role player.
Okay, so you knew that going in. I want to talk about NBA in a second, but I first want to talk about high school. You're playing basketball in high school, and I imagine it feels like you're a superhero, right? Mm-hmm. Like you score whenever you want. It is. I just need to understand what that's like. Every single time the ball's going to you, every single time you put it up, nobody's upset about the shot. Is it the easiest game? Is it exciting? Does it get boring? Like, what is high school when you are the best?
It's interesting. So high school and AAU are two different things.
Okay.
Right? So my freshman year, I played varsity.
Yeah.
And I averaged like 17 a game.
Wow.
And then I went and played 17 and under. So like that's all rising seniors. I went and played 17 and under with Boo Williams.
Yeah.
Which was the other side of the state. Didn't know any of the guys, didn't know Boo. I like had like a person who had reached out to Boo and was like, hey, do you need a shooter for the summer tournaments? So I meet them in Atlanta. That experience, that was hard because I'm going against DeJuan Wagner. I'm going against Tyson Chandler, D Wade, Darius Miles. Like all those guys are rising seniors.
Yeah.
So that was hard. I went to a public school in Southwest Virginia.
Yeah.
So like game to game, it was like, I wasn't say I was ever on cruise control because it was like, but it was easy to score.
You could do whatever the fuck you wanted.
Yeah, but I couldn't because I had a great high school coach.
Okay, so the coach is limited, but if you want to put up 50 a game, do you think that...
The most I scored in high school was 43.
Yeah.
That was the most shots I took in a high school game was 25. was the state championship my senior year.
Wow.
The most shots I took in high school was 25. I was not like
let's say
come
you
down
let's say
jacket.
you were like DeJuan Wagner, where they're basically just going every single play, do whatever you want. 50 easy. I'm just trying to understand how easy high school basketball is when you're a superstar.
Again, I think it's like night to night. If I said to myself, I'm going to get 30 tonight, I'm going to get 30.
That easy.
Yeah, easy.
Okay.
Yeah, especially junior, senior year.
Yeah.
By that time, like, I'm grown, I'm fully developed as like a high school player.
Nobody could bully you.
Yeah, I was like, that was easy.
Okay, so
but I also like the other thing. But again, Billy Hicks, my high school coach, like we played a very specific like motion system. He had gotten this like I think we called it thumb up. It was like 4 across the elbow and the free throw line, like so wings, 2 guys at the elbow. And it was just a movement set,
like a Stanford offense or whatever that is.
Oh, that Princeton. That's
Princeton,
like backdoors.
Yeah. Okay.
This was more like curls into pin downs, curls into pin downs. So like I learned how to play off the ball in high school. We didn't run like high pick and rolls or ISO basketball, and so we all kind of ate in that system. It wasn't like
it wasn't geared toward one specific
exactly. I had a couple plays like I would get an ISO on the left block
if they need a bucket,
and then if I got hot, I would just kind of like give my coach a look. I remember like my senior night, Coach K came. I was coming off an injury. We were playing at one of our rivals in our district, and I got hot in the first half, and I kind of like looked at him, and he's like,
let him go.
Which was basically my clearance to get a heat check in.
Okay. So this is one of the questions I have. And I do want to talk about NBA stuff, and there's tons of people I want to talk about in the NBA, but is getting hot real?
Yes.
Because I'm sure you've spoken to the analytics guys, and they say there is no such thing as getting hot. If
Momentum
you look at the
is not
data,
real.
whatever, blah, blah, blah. But you felt it. I'm sure you remember the times in your career where you feel it. What is getting hot?
Do you know what flow state is?
Yes.
Yes. It's just flow state.
So it's no thinking.
Yeah.
Doing.
Your body, it's every shot, every motion. It's just like perfect muscle memory. There were games, I'm being serious when I say this. There were games where I would shoot like 8 for 12, and I'd be like, man, my shot didn't feel good tonight. And then there could be a game where I shot 8 for 16, and I was like, I was in the flow state tonight.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because it's like, again, you're at that level in the NBA, your margin at my size is like,
That's why the analytics guys don't get it, because they're looking at the data.
I did a senior project in stats on the idea of like the hot hand.
Yeah.
And at the time, it was very much undisputed. There was no such thing.
Yeah.
And so I do the project, and I came to the same conclusion. And of course, now I think pretty much that has been debunked. There was a book about it a few years ago about the theory of the hot hand, and it was pretty much debunked.
It was debunked that there is no such thing as
No,
that.
there is a hot hand.
that they actually can
But
prove.
no, the idea that there isn't a hot hand.
Yeah, the idea
that idea was debunked.
Got it.
There is a hot hand.
Yeah,
for sure.
so we believe it. There is data to back it up.
Was there a way?
When you're on stage, man, you
100%.
know it. Like
100%.
when you're on stage, you know
Perfect connection.
You know exactly when you're killing it.
Yeah.
You know it.
Yeah. You're not operating in the deficit. You're not worrying about
just
what's
fully
going
present.
wrong. You are fully present, and you are locked in.
Was
and
there a
the
way for
ideas
you
are
to
coming.
access it frequently, or was it just random?
There were ways to try. A lot of it became about like the prep, the routine. Even going back to high school, I was always like a visualization person. So I had this free period, and I would walk through the gym. And I don't know why, because we had an auxiliary gym. I don't think that there was really ever like gym class by the time you were like a junior or senior. So like I would walk through the gym on game days, and I would like picture the spots on the court, and I'd leave the gym. And then for the rest of the day, I'm visualizing coming off of pin downs. I'm visualizing my footwork. I'm visualizing like the angle with which I want to release the ball, where the defender is. I always had the ability to do that. And so that was one of my sort of like preps to get into the flow state.
Wow.
That was one of the preps.
Even at like 16, 17 years old, you're doing that.
I was probably doing it at like 15, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But Steph is able to access better than any basketball player.
It's kind of
It's unbelievable.
miraculous.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
He's you know something that's interesting about like the Steph. I got to watch Steph up close when we were in San Francisco doing shooting shows, and I don't think his speed translates on TV.
Yeah.
When you see him
Yeah.
up front, he is by far the fastest. It's like No one's even close. But on TV, it seems like the game is operating in slow motion. It's the same thing with like Brunson. I'm watching Brunson be so fucking effective, get to whatever position he wants to get to, but I don't see him as like a freakishly fast dude. So I'm trying to understand what creates game speed.
All right, so I'm gonna actually grab this real quick, if you don't mind.
Yeah, you got something for us?
He's got to take a call.
No, I got it for you. I just got to find it.
He got some more lyrics for you, bro.
Yo, you got bars for us?
Can you explain
I
this
just want
in
to
a
get
rhyme?
all this stuff in here. So this idea of like an athlete in basketball,
Yeah.
basketball athleticism. So what goes into that? So historically, or traditionally, I should say, we think of basketball athletes as being vertical and linear, right? Fast and up. All right, so these are the things that go into being a great basketball athlete. Change of direction, balance, coordination, change of pace. We talked about the deceleration before we started, which is the most fascinating thing in today's NBA. Strength, vertical plane, pliability, which is just flexibility, mobility, reflexes, stamina, and then the cognitive side of that is pattern recognition, spatial awareness, which is an easy way to say court mapping. Nikola Jokic court maps, anticipation, and then cognitive load. That's the mental bandwidth piece. How many things can you process at once?
At the same time, yeah.
Right? So it goes back to what you said about me as an athlete when we first started. Like, I am not a great athlete in the NBA. I'm not. Relative to the average person, I'm in the 1%. But I'm not in the 1% of the 1% of the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So all these guys that you're like, how do you explain it? It's because they have all of this shit. Maybe they don't have vertical. Maybe they don't have linear. Luka Doncic is not a vertical or linear athlete.
But he's got
the best breaks in the fucking world.
And can you explain why breaks make it so effective?
Well, so what he does, actually, this is what I wanted to talk to you about.
Okay.
All right. So what he does is like there's a constant change of pace. He's on balance. He's trying to get you on off balance. Once you're off balance, he's still on balance. He changes his pace.
Yeah.
He has created an advantage at that point.
Yeah.
So now he's got you on his hip. Potentially he's blown by you. Maybe you reach in, he goes through, he draws a foul, whatever.
Yeah.
But let's say you catch up to him. You're now going in acceleration full speed, and he goes into deceleration, you fly by. So on his drives, his ability to decelerate is special.
Yeah. There's and he's very effective without having to create immediate acceleration. Like I remember, and I'm not in any way comparing myself to him, but I remember for me, in order to have any competitive advantage when I was playing, I had to make a commitment to going to the basket after one move and put everything into it because I didn't have that extra. I had a maybe decent first set, but I'm committed 100%. Now, at that commitment 100%, I didn't have the breaks to stop if the guy was with me.
Right.
But that was the only way that I knew. And when I started to play at higher levels and guys could stay with me, it was way more difficult for me to score. To see him do it at like medium speed, it feels like. And the second you're on his hip, it's over.
Right.
So it's like, it's not like he needs to blow by you. He just needs you here.
Once he gets you off balance, it seems.
And he's 6'8".
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
30-ish, depending on the day.
Seems incredibly strong.
Yeah, his lower body's insane.
Okay, so what
his
about
lower body's insane.
Wait. What do you mean? Like it's all
strength.
legs. It's
it's strength.
so that's the breaks.
Yeah. What I was going to say about Brunson and Luka's in this category, and I put like Kyrie in this category, is like I was thinking last night before I went to bed because I watched some of the Mavs game against the Spurs, and then once the Nuggets game came on, I really wanted to watch that game, so I watched the full Nuggets T-Wolves game, and I was laying in bed and I was thinking about how we break down certain players and like what a scouting report is on a certain player. And for some guys, it's like I had a very simple scouting report, right? But for some guys, it's like
What was yours? What was yours?
You have to be aware of where he is at all times. He's in constant motion. I like to turn over my left shoulder. You could force him out to the right side where he turns over his right shoulder.
Turn over your left shoulder means you're getting the ball.
So the basket's that way. I wanted to turn this way over my left shoulder.
So you're coming around.
So the defender's on this side.
Yeah.
My right hand is here. You can't get to the ball.
But if you're,
I turn the other way, right? I have short arms, alligator arms, negative wingspan. But I was thinking about certain guys where it's like, all right, this guy in isolation, he likes to go left. This guy, if he's, playing in pick and roll. He wants to come to his right hand. He's going to shoot a 1-2 dribble pull up. This guy's better finishing right. There's some guys that just defy breakdown. Luka defies a breakdown. Like, what is his scouting report?
Yeah.
Jalen Brunson, by the way, like I've watched him over the last 2 years, and I played with Jalen. I knew he was good. I did not know he was going to be this good.
Yeah.
Jalen Brunson, it's like, is there an answer for him? Because he can score going right. He can score going left. He can shoot threes off the dribble.
Yeah.
He can shoot, catch, and shoot. What makes Jalen so good, going back to that, he's got a lot of those qualities, right? I don't think he's the fastest guy.
Yeah.
Certainly not a vertical athlete.
Yeah.
He's always on balance.
Yeah.
He does everything, every trick, the footwork, the body shifts, the handle. He does everything to get you off balance,
Also,
but he's never off balance.
The handle's underrated too. That's another thing. Incredible control of the ball.
Yeah.
And ability to change directions. And he has that kind of almost like, you know, remember IT's dribble?
Oh, yeah.
You know, where it's like he kind of lulls you to sleep almost, and then first step, see you later. I feel like Jalen's got a little bit of that.
Do you know what a keep action is?
No.
A keep action. So Draymond Green does this a lot. So you throw him the ball and you go to chase it, or he goes into a dribble handoff on the other side. A dribble handoff is just mean you dribble at somebody and you hand it off, right? So when a keep action is you dribble at somebody, your guy then tries to help and you just keep it and go, right? So Jalen Brunson will bring the ball up on the right side of the floor and he will go to a dribble handoff with the other guard and he'll do this and just keep it, right?
Yeah.
I'm at a game. I have a friend who has courtside seats, so he invited me, and we're at a game, and I'm sitting courtside across from the Knicks bench, and looking at Tibbs. Knicks are going that way. Everyone is sort of backpedaling near Tibbs, and Tibbs calls 7 keep or whatever they call their keep action. Audibly, anyone sitting there can hear it.
Hear exactly the.
And I'm like, Jalen Brunson, keep action. Here we go. And Jalen Brunson drills at the right side, does his thing, keep action, wide open layup. I'm like, how?
Yeah. How?
Memphis was playing a bunch of G League guys, so that was part of it. But also, like, you know what's coming.
Yeah.
The best players, you know what they really want to get to, and you can't stop them.
And they still get to it.
They still get to it. Michael Jordan wanted to get to his right hand.
And it's going to go.
Have you seen this shit?
What?
We done with the 90s?
Bro,
it's
I hate this. Who's paying for this? This is your podcast co-host. There's a there's a media smear campaign out there for Michael Jordan, and there's all these people that are like taking these clips and saying how trash basketball was in the 90s, as if we didn't fucking watch it.
Yeah.
You thought it was trash?
No.
So MJ does whatever he wants now.
And they tried to say MJ doesn't have a left hand, and then they broke it down, and it's like he goes to the left just as much as he goes to the right now. Like,
this is a smear campaign.
this is a smear campaign.
I don't love
this. Is
I you know, because of some things that have happened on First Take and The Old Man and the Three, which is my other podcast, because of some things that I've said, I have this reputation as like destroying the older generation, and it's like,
what did you call them? Janitors?
Plumbers and firemen.
There we go.
But here's everything I've ever said is
you've been smeared.
In fact,
what are the facts here? That Michael Jordan's a fireman?
No, I was talking specifically about the players that Bob Cousy played against in the 1950s.
Okay, this is different.
In the 1950s, nearly every professional athlete in every sport
was white.
Had
what?
Don't get me started on the quota.
wait. Talk to us about the Utah Jazz. Go.
No, don't get me started on this. But every professional athlete, not every but most professional athletes had a summer job. They didn't train year round like we did. They literally were plumbers and firemen and welders and farmers.
Yes.
Oh, I don't know.
So it was a matter of fact that he was
but you
playing
also say
against,
that I think the implication is they're less athletic, they're less good.
Well, they were
Cousy
less
also,
good. Let's be in the 1950s.
But that's just a matter of what they got paid, and they had to be. They weren't like, hey, 100%. I want to be a plumber and I'll play basketball on the side. You know what I mean? Like, they're very good basketball players who had to make ends meet, as was Bob Cousy.
I can absolutely. I've been so consistent on this, and yet people are like, you trash prior generations. I've been consistent on this.
But Bob
the
Cousy,
first time I ever commented on any of this was right after the top 75 list came out.
Yeah, and you were pissed that fucking Dwight Howard wasn't on it.
And all I said was, we should absolutely celebrate the greatest players in every era, what they accomplished, who they were as players. We should celebrate that. But you can't tell me that Dolph Shays was a better basketball player than Tracy McGrady or Kyrie Irving or Klay Thompson or Dwight Howard. It's just it's not based in any sort of fact. Now, relative to the competition, you could make an argument, right? Relative to the competition, which is what I've been consistent on. Celebrate what players were able to do in their era. So I get knocked for, I trashed Larry Bird. Dominique Wilkins has been on like 19 different podcasts talking about how stupid I am for saying that Larry Bird is a top 10 player of all time and one of the greatest shooters ever. But objectively, he's not a top 5 3-point shooter. He's just not.
Well, wasn't there?
And the argument against that is, oh, well, if he had played in today's era, he would be a top 5. What? That doesn't even make sense. That's not based in reality or fact.
Wait a minute, but was there a 3-point line early in his career?
3-point line was 1979, 1980. I believe was the first year of the 3-point line. Chris Ford made the first 3-pointer ever.
But when does he come in the league? Bird.
He was the class of 79, wasn't he?
Okay, so he's in it. So the game is a little different. But you're saying the data doesn't show that he's a top 3-point shooter.
Yeah, he shot like 3 a game or something.
Yeah, I mean, 37% for his career. Draymond Green just passed him in the all-time
total 3-point. Yeah.
I believe Richard Jefferson is right above him too. I'm gonna say Richard Jefferson's one of the best.
So what was Larry Bird good at?
But I think
Larry Bird was one of the greatest players ever.
Yeah.
He was a great shooter. First of all, he was a great shooter.
Yeah.
Incredible passer.
Yeah.
Insane passer.
He's also, to me, like when I watch, because I watch full games, and then I watch the highlight montage that we all watch. I love watching full games on YouTube. It's one of the greatest gifts ever of YouTube.
Yeah.
But he's another guy who like defied a definition.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah.
He defied a definition.
Yeah.
Jordan defied a definition.
Yeah.
He defied a definition. They're transcendent players.
Yeah.
Transcendent. That's how I look at him.
But not a good 3-point shooter.
No, he was a good 3-point shooter.
But one of the best shooters ever?
But Mad Dog that day said to me, but Larry Bird won a 3-point contest. I'm like, are you serious?
Yeah.
There's been a lot of guys that have won 3-point contests.
Did you ever win 3-point contests?
Nah, I fucking never made it past the first round.
Wait, why?
Well, the first year I shot.
Ah. Again, it's because the rack is now on the right side. If you had the rack on the right side,
this is what drives me crazy though. Is like, you again, like
you need people talking shit to you while you're shooting. That's the problem.
And then there's like facts. And you have like cameras in the arenas now.
Yeah.
You track everything. I can tell you that Wembanyama's release point is at 9.4 feet. I can tell you that LeBron James this year on catch and shoot threes, his right shoulder is turned 6 degrees more to the right, so he's more square to the basket.
You would know catch and shoot threes very well.
So my point is,
are you a catch and shoot guy?
I was for like, no, of course I was. But I was also one of the top off the dribble jump shooters in the NBA for years.
I knew that about
Was one of the best mid-range shooters in the NBA for years. Yeah. I wasn't just like, when people say spot up, I'm like, I didn't even practice spot up threes.
You didn't even practice it.
No, I didn't practice spot up threes. I didn't practice. Why would I?
Why would he? Why would he? He's putting it on the floor.
When am I getting this?
He's putting it on the floor.
I'm moving.
Also moving, dickhead.
Yeah.
Come on, bro. Yeah, dude. You see how these Browns try to fucking take us down, man? It's fucked up, bro.
You don't have to take this.
I think this is what your senior thesis was about, actually, is you not being.
Yo, did you ever cross anybody up in the league? Is there anybody that you put on the floor?
On the floor? No.
Yeah.
I mean, I had one on LeBron.
You crossed him up?
Yeah, but I missed the shot, so it doesn't count.
Damn.
Hold on. You went right.
Steph was off a jab step, though.
I mean,
that was like
he hit the
deck?
Yeah.
You made Steph hit the deck?
Yeah.
But
is this early ankle Steph or late ankle Steph?
No, this was game 7 of the 2014 playoffs.
Ooh. Jab step.
That one hurt.
No, so like he was in help.
Yeah.
Chris swung it to me, and the angle he closed out on me.
Yeah.
I would always, especially on the left side, so I get to my right hand. When guys would close out that way, I would drive against the closeout. I would drive against the closeout.
Wait a minute, do we have
this? Oh, there we go.
Oh my God! Look at this. Hold on.
I think the CP just swung it to him.
Wait, here we go.
Bye. Dropped him.
Yeah. That one hurt me.
I'm not sure how he fell though.
That one hurt.
It was not like a special move. That was the most basic move ever.
Hold on. But you faked what?
I didn't fake. I just drove away from his body angle.
Because he was terrified of you putting it on the floor, right?
No, he was trying
Let's watch that again, dude.
Yeah, let's watch that again. because he read the scouting report. He's like, he's JJ.
He's a catch and shoot guy.
He's a
Yeah.
That is fucked up that they use that against us. No, they really do. Okay, so you put Steph in the dirt. You cross the fuck out of LeBron. Like, just
I don't know.
Who do you not take down? Like, why do you try to take down this generation's heroes? You try to take the last generation's heroes.
I'm not taking anyone down,
bro. Larry Bird, you said couldn't hold your jock straight. You said Steph is on the ground when he plays D against you.
Man.
Like, there's obviously there's some ego here. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You sent Mark the clip before the pod. You're like, yo, bring this up randomly.
I don't know why you texted me that.
Google YouTube, right?
It's from our team.
But I think
text.
I think Steph killed the white boy shooter. I think that era.
Yeah, because that used to be us.
Yeah.
Except for me, I never was a shooter. I would go to the bathroom.
Explain that further.
All right, so back in the day, and I know it sounds crazy, but whenever there was a white boy on the court, we would just assume he's a shooter.
Yeah.
And most of the time, they weren't a shooter.
Yeah.
And so now that he's turned the game into shooting, everybody's a shooter now. So it's like, he took away the one thing I had left.
He took away the one thing.
Took away our superpower.
Him making shooting cool made black people be like, oh, I'll shoot too.
Yeah.
And now,
Not everybody's
what place is there for you
different.
guys?
Fuck.
You know what I mean? They're taking your jobs, dude.
They really are.
Sorry. That's because you dropped them. He's like, oh yeah?
That's
So what should we take
about
back?
that.
What should we take back? Deceleration. We're good at that.
Oh yeah, we can go slow.
We don't have acceleration, but we got. We just had a 15-minute conversation on the pod. You know the coolest thing a player is slow down. Hey, that Luka guy's really good at getting slow out there on the court. Dude,
so good.
But being slow is the new fast.
Yeah, it's the new thing.
It's the new fast.
It is new
If
fast.
you could do it like Luka, then it's cool. But like, you can't.
But also, don't you think that Luka like gets away with stuff because he's so charming with the female refs?
I've never noticed that.
Oh,
you
there's a
didn't
great
know?
clip of him.
Oh, he's just
rizzing up
so
this female
suave,
ref.
dude. He's got that Balkan suave.
I love that what you put in the Google bar was Luka Rizz. Like, I'm not, my brain isn't working.
But it's the first video,
Yeah,
right?
Gen Z Google.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
It's the
Yeah,
first.
exactly.
Look at this. Look at him rizz this girl up. She can't even control herself. Look at this.
Oh, what's up, shawty? Yeah, it's a foul. That's what we can take back, flirting. Yeah.
We're good at flirting.
Oh,
Yeah,
There
we can
go.
take that back.
Yeah.
Dude, white guys are the best at flirting in the
mean,
league.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw his co-host the other day on the bench, but
Wait, what happened? What happened?
I mean,
oh,
let it
LeBron.
out. Yeah.
Why are they giving LeBron so much? LeBron can't even be friendly
I know, he can't talk
with the
to anyone.
owner of the team he's on without everybody making a big deal of it.
It's a shame.
That's, what do you call that? Sexism.
Yeah, that's
That's sexism.
You know what I've realized just coming on the show?
What is that?
You guys are here. You guys are here for the right reason. You're here to just break down fucked up institutional barriers.
Yeah,
Exactly, yeah. We're
Just
trying to
like you, dude. You
break
would do
that.
it through rap. We do it through podcasting, man.
We're trying to break the ceiling, bro.
Yeah,
We're
we-
allies.
done.
Exactly.
No, I get it.
We're
I get it.
woke
Up late
too.
to practice, you are an ally, bro.
Yeah, what were you doing?
Respect,
Yo, why
right.
were you late to practice? What do you
CPT.
think that was about?
Yeah.
You were on CPT? What is that? Shut up. That's not, that was
They
great.
don't teach you that at Duke, bro.
That was great. CPT? Chinese people time? No. Alex is the one who can only tell you what it is. It's
Color people time. We're known to be a little late. Indians are too.
Yeah,
So
we
it's
call it
black and brown.
IST, which is weird. Indian Standard Time.
Indian Standard Time. But white people, we always show up on time.
You were 15 minutes early.
Yeah.
That is true.
You got here before me?
I was 19
And you know what's
minutes.
crazy?
I was 19 minutes early.
You know what's crazy? He's supposed to be 30 minutes early, but CPT.
Nah, he was later to me, though. I'm snitching, sorry.
All right, guys, we're going to take a break for a second because some of y'all want to be chef extraordinaires, okay? I don't know if you're watching The Bear, you're watching Hell's Kitchen, you're watching Top Chef. I don't know exactly what you're watching, but you have the urge, the desire to provide food for your loved ones, and it's beautiful, but don't mess it up because you really only get one chance. If you're going to make the meal for your loved ones, for a person that you're maybe just meeting for the second, third time, you really want to impress that person, this is great. Don't mess it up, okay? How do we make sure that you don't mess it up? Just Meat has got your back. They're going to do all the difficult stuff. All you need to do is just cook it. They're going to have it marinated absolutely delicious, okay? They're going to get the perfect cut of the meat. They're going to have that meat that is perfectly cut and marinated for 24 hours. They're going to deliver it to you. All you got to do is cook it, eat it, impress your loved ones, do whatever else happens next, and then rinse and repeat. You clean up and then you repeat, okay? Seasoned, cut, cleaned, organic meat from a trusted farm. That's all you need. After that, you add the veggies, the rice, the quinoa, whatever the fuck you want to it, and now your meal is done, okay? They took the most time-consuming part out of cooking and the most important part. Let's just be honest, okay? Anybody can go grab the meat from the store, but you can't create that flavor. You can't make sure it's the right cut, and you cannot get all that deliciousness delivered right to your door. Yeah, the veggies. You're going to get the veggies. They're going to make it there. Nobody's ever going to leave your house going, oh my God, the broccoli was mind-blowing. But that steak, And of course, because we're always looking out for you, right now, you go to justmeats.com/flagrant. Use the code flagrant. You're going to get $15 off your first purchase. And better yet, this discount is stackable with other offers, which means if the site is offering 20% off, which it is right now, you get to cash in on both offers. So that's the $15 off and the 20% off. So stop wasting your time. Sign up now. Again, that's justmeats.com/flagrant, promo code flagrant. They know what they do best. Let them make your life that much easier and more delicious. Now let's get back to the show.
All right, guys, we're going to take a break real quick because we got to talk about something important. If you are injured by the negligence of another, you deserve to be paid. I know life is crazy and sometimes crazy shit happens because of one person's negligence, malpractice, whatever, and that can result in your settlement if that happens to you. So if you are injured in an accident, not calling a lawyer means you could be leaving money on the table. When you're seriously hurt, your injury could be worth millions. Look, getting seriously injured does suck. Everything that comes with it is really hard, but you know what's easy is checking out Morgan & Morgan. So if you're ever injured, you can check out Morgan & Morgan. It is America's largest injury law firm. They got over 100 officers, and this is what's important. They have recovered over $20 billion for over 500,000 clients. That means they have helped a lot of people win a lot of money. Morgan & Morgan clearly has a proven track record of fighting to get you full and fair compensation. So, like I said, getting injured because of someone else's negligence or malpractice or etc. is hard to go through. But submitting a claim, an injury claim with Morgan & Morgan is very easy. So there's one small silver lining to all that, and they will fight to get you as much money as possible. So if you are ever injured, you can check out Morgan & Morgan. Their fee is free unless you win. That's important, so I'm going to repeat it. Their fee is free unless you win. So for more information, go to forthepeople.com/flagrant or dial pound law. That's pound 529 from your cell phone. That is forthepeople.com/flagrant or pound law, pound 529 from your cell. This is a paid advertisement, but that don't mean I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Let's get back to the show.
Okay, so you're going into the NBA going, how long do you think your career is going to be? I know you're learning Italian. You're like, I might play overseas, but you get drafted. How long do you think you're going to play? One, and two, are you just thinking about, okay, this is my chance to make generational wealth and then I'm out of here? Or are you going, I'm winning an NBA championship? What is going through your mind when you go to Orlando?
The first thing was like, can I get on the court? Which that took a while.
So
there's a process. I mean this. There's a process for every NBA player. It was like, can I get on the court? Can I get playing time? Can I like show that I'm good? Can I get paid? And in a lot of times, like for me, early in my career, I played on a great Orlando team. It was about winning a championship. I played against the Lakers in 2009, which was my third year. I was still on my rookie contract.
Wow. Yeah.
In terms of the longevity, like I stayed 4 years. So I turned 22 right after the draft.
Yeah.
So I played the 4 years. I'm 26 in 2010, first time being a free agent. And I really thought I was going to get a 5-year deal from Boston for the full mid-level.
Were you guys talking?
No, I did not think that. But I played well against them 2 straight years in the playoffs.
So they're like, okay, we want this.
Yeah. And then Perk gets hurt in Game 6 of the finals against the Lakers. So they used the mid-level on Jermaine O'Neal because Perk was going to be out that season. And so I sat there for 10 days and I had to wait on LeBron. So a bunch of guys signed, and then there was like a few teams that still had cap space that were waiting on LeBron.
Milwaukee.
Chicago was one of them. So I signed with Chicago, but it was a 3-year deal. And I remember thinking at the time, like, all right, 29, maybe I could re-up. But the reason I wanted a 5-year deal, because I was thinking 31, I'm a undersized shooting guard with a negative wingspan. I'm likely this is going to be my last real contract.
So you're already looking at
and then
your mortality.
And then I made more money in my last 4 years than I did in my first 11 years.
Okay, so take us through that. What is you're going from Orlando. I thought you go Orlando, Milwaukee.
I was a restricted free agent. So I'm on my honeymoon. So I spent 10 days stressing out on my honeymoon. I finally signed with Chicago. I'm in Florence. I signed with Chicago. I've got to wait. We then go to Barcelona, and we didn't do shit in Barcelona, but walk around and talk.
Yeah.
Because we were like, are we going to Chicago? We don't know anybody in Chicago. Should we move to Chicago? Should we live in Chicago? Yeah. Should we have an off-season home? Should we, what do we do? Like, we need a home base. Like, it was just like this really uncertain period.
Yeah.
So I didn't really even enjoy Barcelona, to be honest with you. And then the last day there, Orlando had 7 days to match.
Yeah.
So on the 7th day, they said, we're matching the contract. You have to go back, right? So I then went back to Orlando. The big thing for me was my last year in Orlando was our start of our rebuild. Dwight left, got traded to LA. Stan was let go.
But you're hooping.
They bring in Jacques Vaughn, and Jacques came to me in preseason, and he's like, I don't want you to start, because if you start, it's you, Aflalo, and Jameer. We're super undersized. We're gonna start Mo Harkless. So you're gonna come off the bench, but I want you to be my Ginobili. I'm gonna literally, it was the first time in my career was like, we're gonna run plays through you. When you're on the court, we're running offense through you. So I play well, and that was like, to me, that was the turning point in my career. So I signed with LA, and the summer after my first year in LA, the season ends, I'm 29, I'm getting ready to turn 30, I'm getting ready to have my first kid. Steve Nash lived like 2 blocks from me. So I keep running into him, and I didn't really know Steve, but he was always super kind to me. And one day I ran into him, and I was like, hey, can I have coffee with you? So we went and had coffee, and I just said to him, dude, you're one of the few guys at that point that had gotten better in their 30s. He was an all-star in Dallas. Like, it wasn't like he was a bad, but when he went to Phoenix, he got better in his 30s.
Yeah, it was very Jalen Brunson-like.
And he gave me some advice.
What did he say?
Shorter and harder. You don't need to shoot 800 shots. I know what you're going to say. Can you not be a child for 5 seconds?
He cannot.
What do you mean?
I'm like, dude,
I didn't do anything. What?
Okay, I'll reword that for you.
The 2 white basketball players. What's the best thing? Short and hard.
Be more
okay,
efficient. Be more efficient in your training. Meaning, like, and I'd always worked, and I'd always worked on my game, but it wasn't about volume. It was about every specific thing that you were going to do on a basketball court. Do it at game speed. And you don't need 20 reps, do 10 perfect reps. So my workouts ended up being the same amount of time, hour to an hour and 15 on the court every day. But they were more taxing. Is that a better word for you?
Yes.
They were more taxing.
Thank you.
Okay.
Wait, so you started
really
working out.
To his Jewish side.
Yeah.
More taxing.
You started working out harder, or you have more taxing workouts, and you found that benefited you more. You weren't like tired for the games. You didn't feel like your body would be down more.
I ran like on a track.
Yeah.
Or like I would go run like 5 miles at a specific speed to like build a base level heart rate. I did that throughout my 20s. By the time I got to like 30, 31, and all my off-season workouts, my basketball workout was so difficult that I didn't need to supplement it as much. Now, 2 weeks before the training camp started, I would go find a turf field, or I'd go find a track, and I would do those cardio workouts. But my basketball workouts were so difficult that, like, by the end of it, I've lost 5 pounds in water weight. I've built up my cardio, and so being able to like play and move at that speed all the time, that was essentially what created an advantage for me.
Okay, so you go to the Clippers. You're already balling before you go to the Clippers, though. You're already showing the league that you can score.
Yeah, Doc Rivers didn't save my career, if that's what you're asking me.
I wasn't going to ask it, but it's funny. Okay, good. What's up with you and Pat Bev going at it? Our boy Pat Bev.
That's my guy, man.
Okay, good.
That's my guy. I don't know.
Okay, so you go there. You're already hooping. You go there. Do they bring you there specifically for that? Is this just a good match? Do you get a conversation where they're like, hey, we see what you can do. You're going to get a lot of touches here and make it happen?
Well, so I get traded at the end of my last year. My contract is expiring. They trade me for Tobias Harris, who was a young player at the time on Milwaukee, who wasn't playing a lot. So I go to Milwaukee. We lose in the first round to the Miami Heat. And I thought I was going to go back to Milwaukee. And by the time it got like typically like the team, your incumbent team can have some contact with you right before free agency. They can, you know, it's not like a full negotiation, but they'll check in with you or whatever. So it's like crickets for like 2 months, and I'm like, okay, Milwaukee's not going to happen. So my agent calls me I was on vacation for my birthday and anniversary. I'm in Napa. My agent calls me. He's like, can you be in LA in 2 days? The T-Wolves and the Pistons want to meet with you. So I'm like, okay. So I'm going to meet with Flip. I'm going to meet with Joe Dumars. So we decided to rent a car. We rented, and all they had at the time was like this 2-door Nissan.
Nice.
Yeah, it was great. Drove, literally, it was my first time doing that drive.
Yeah,
all the way from Napa all the way to LA. We made stops in Big Sur. We made stops in Santa Barbara. It was awesome. Get to LA. I meet with Flip. I meet with Joe. Flip offers a contract. And on our way down there, Chris Rivers, Doc's wife at the time, had texted Chelsea because Chelsea had taught her in Pilates. She said, can JJ have Doc's number? So Doc reaches out that night when free agency starts. Can you have dinner tomorrow? So I've now met with the Pistons and the Wolves. I go have dinner with Doc. And at that dinner, he said, I think you've been used wrong. I want to use you like Ray Allen. Now, I don't know if that was a recruiting pitch because I had talked a lot, and Ray knows this, so I just had him on my podcast. Ray knows this. Like, Ray was the guy I wanted to be. I wanted to be Ray Allen. I didn't want to be a white shooter. I wanted to be Ray. I wanted to be Ray.
Early
so
Ray or late Ray?
Early Ray.
Yeah. JJ?
Early Ray.
JJ. JJ. He was dunking on people.
I know.
Yeah.
I'll never forget in high school that when they would do like the rankings, you know, and they would give comps for players. Like my comp, you know, was always like a catch and shoot guy. And one time I got Ray Allen as my comp. Wow. And it was like a dream come true. I was like, I've made it. Ray is my comp. Anyway, so when I went to LA, like I got all the Boston stuff that Doc ran for Ray. I got all that shit. Yeah. It was great.
And he was forthcoming with this. He was like, listen, we really want you to cook, go out there, shoot.
But I didn't even know I was going to start. Like, that's the thing. Like, I remember first day of training camp, we went to San Diego that year, and Jamal Crawford was still there, right? And Willie Green had started the year before. They'd used Jamal as like a bench player, or not, 6-man, whatever. And I remember having a conversation with Jamal. I was like, do you know who's going to start? He's like, no, I don't know.
You asked Jamal?
Yeah. So then I go to T. Lou, who was our assistant at the time. I go to T. Lou, and I was like, who's starting? Who's starting? Like, I want to have some like headspace as I go into my first practice with the Clippers. And he looked at me and he goes, you motherfucker. Like that. And I was like, okay. So that was like a big, I mean, I did that, and I
was there an ego issue with Jamal?
No.
He was
with Fam? No.
He's the man.
No, him and I are, yeah.
Also, I love him coming off the bench.
Yeah, that's what I think he knew.
Just give him the ball.
Great, because like Doc also liked having all bench, at the time at least, had like having all bench units.
Yeah.
So Jamal just got to cook when he was out there.
Did you ever try, like in practice, just try to stay in front of him?
Jamal and I will never forget this one practice. It was probably, Glenn Davis was there, so.
Shout out,
Big Baby.
Shout out to Big Baby. I think he's doing porn.
But yeah, he is. Filming.
Yeah, filming for now. That's how it starts. Yeah.
But we were working on like some player we were playing against was going to play ISO. So, you know, I'm on the starting team. Jamal's on the second unit. So Jamal gets to be the ISO guy. And he like scored on me once, and like Jamal carried the ball. Let's be honest. So Jamal carried the ball.
The hate.
So then like
hate, bro.
By the way, so he scored on me once. So everybody's like fucking gassing him up.
Yeah.
And then I get a couple stops or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, all right, now it's my turn. Like, give me the ball.
Yeah.
So I'm like kind of going to him, and I score a couple times, talking shit.
How'd you score on him?
Yeah, who would pass you the ball?
I crossed him over, hit a little floater in the lane, like that sort of thing. But I'm in ISO. It's like literally we're on the right quadrant, high right quadrant. Everybody's cleared out, and we're just like dancing.
Yeah, you don't gotta lie here.
Yeah. Anyways, baby gassed me up after practice.
Yeah, what'd he say? He's like, yo, he can't hold you. No. He can't hold
Jamal
you,
and I never once had a rivalry. Like,
really?
Never had, no. From day one. He was like the greatest teammate.
He's the man.
I've heard
he's
like, he takes incredible care of his body, greatest teammate, super smart guy.
Doesn't smoke, doesn't drink.
Yeah.
Yeah, gets to sleep.
Loves
ridiculous.
The basketball.
Unbelievable.
Never done a ball handling drill in his life.
Get the fuck out of here.
Wow.
That's what he claims.
So what, a guy like that, what does he just have, like incredibly fast wrists or whatever that is, or it's just super long?
He can get to the ball. So he's got it on a string. I think that's part of it with Kyrie too. I don't
Really?
know his wingspan relative to like his body. Like everybody's shaped different. I remember DeAndre Jordan. I'm like, dude, you have no torso.
He's just all legs.
No torso. He's all legs. Vince Carter and I. Vince is like 6'6". I'm like 6'4". So if Vince Carter and I sat next to each other like this, I'm like 2 inches taller than him.
Oh, he's all legs too.
He's
yeah.
all arms and legs.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I don't know. I feel like Kyrie. Maybe I don't know his wingspan, but I feel like Kyrie's like anatomically is just like built so that he can handle the ball.
Yeah.
He's obviously worked at it too.
Yeah. And just unbelievable touch, like finishing ability. What is that? What do you think that would be? Touch.
To describe it, like technically?
Yeah. Here's a better question. Did you think you had good touch? Prolific shooter, but did you think you had good touch around the rim?
A few years where my float game was pretty good.
Okay.
My finishing numbers were pretty good, like prime of my career. I had a shoulder issue in summer of 2016. It was right after the season. I led the league in three-point shooting that year. I used to do the walkaway. You know the Steph walkaway where you shoot? Like that year I had a few of those where like I'd shoot and I'd turn and run up court. It felt good. I'm not gonna lie. It felt pretty good. But we go to, my wife and I went to Santa Barbara after the season, and I've got a soon-to-be 1-year-old, and I'm throwing him in the pool. And I like fucked my shoulder up. I got an MRI. Like there was nothing like
Structurally wrong with it.
Structurally wrong with it. The rest of my career, my shoulder was fucked up. So you know how Markelle Fultz, when he shoots, his shoulder goes like this?
Yeah.
So the rest of my career, I did that. It really actually affected me the most on floaters and layups. Like even I coach my kids, and I'll be demonstrating a drill, and like sometimes like I'll go shoot an uncontested right-handed layup, and I'll miss it because my shoulder just like I can't activate my scapula correctly.
I have a bad scapular movement.
Yeah.
Same exact thing.
Yeah.
And you make up for it by just moving your entire shoulder instead of doing this rotation. Yeah.
I used to when I would shoot free throws at the end of my career. So normally I would just shoot free throws like this, right? But at the end of my career, I had to put the ball out, like
and keep your shoulder down.
Activate my. Otherwise, this thing would come up, and I'd be shooting like this.
Okay, so what happens with the three-point shooting then?
I compensated.
How?
I'd sometimes shoot like that, and then I'd just compensate for the angle of my shot.
What does that mean?
Well, again, I wasn't a catch and shoot guy. Spot up.
Well,
But on the move,
I'm not convinced.
you're not actually shooting at a moving target, but you are. So like if you're coming off a pin, or like I remember there's one shot I made. You can pull it up if you want. There's one.
I'll go on the text. I'll go on the text.
There was one.
Yeah.
White boy.
I'll find it. No.
Okay, go.
There was one shot I made. We were playing. It was LeBron's first year in LA, so it was my second year in Philly. We were playing LeBron on like a Sunday ABC game. Ben gets a long rebound. I'm over in the right corner in front of their bench, and I'm on a dead sprint to the right corner. And Ben's doing his little, thing, and he throws it to me, and I'm on a dead sprint, and I look down to make sure I'm inbounds. I catch the ball, kind of turn all in one motion, and I shoot it behind the backboard. And the shot did not feel good because my shoulder did the thing. It wasn't like I would occasionally get to shoot a pure shot where like my shoulder didn't do it, but my shoulder did the thing. So I'm like behind the backboard. Reggie Bullock fouled me. It was a 4-point play. He's in my lap. And so I'm like literally like, all right, I've got to, in the split second, I got to shoot it and point at that moving target. And the ball went in. And I turned to TJ McConnell and I go, that was tough. Like that. And I still think to this day, that was the greatest shot I ever made in my life.
Okay, what would we put in to get this shot?
I don't know.
Who are you playing?
Lakers.
JJ REDICK 4-point play. Lakers maybe.
I had 21 points that game.
Wait, I still don't understand what you're doing to compensate for the shot. So shoulder goes up.
I would just, if it happened,
Yeah.
my point is, if it happened, which it did, no, that's a different one. That's, that's just a normal 4-point play.
Wait, here's the question.
I see why they hate it. I see why they hate it. It was justified. I thought it was wrong until right now.
Yo, actually, while we're pulling this up, basketball players have crazy. Is that all basketball players that have recall like that? I've always heard LeBron can remember any play from any time in his career.
Said about Bill Russell too.
Bill Russell.
A lot of players do. A lot of players do.
What do you attribute that to?
So someone.
Can you do this with stories your wife tells you?
I remember a lot of shit.
Really?
Yeah, I remember a lot of shit. Yeah, that's it right here.
Let's go.
Is it right here?
Oh.
Simmons passed it to you. Bang.
Great shot.
That's ridiculous.
Wait a minute,
shot.
hold on. But I don't see your shoulder coming up. Go back.
If you,
I can get to zoom in.
Oh, look right there. It's up. It's up.
Oh,
It's
you're
up.
saying you're up here
Yeah.
before you even bring your
Yep,
arm
yep,
up.
Yep. Yep.
And then, oh, wow.
I'm curious, was the team aware of this
Look,
injury?
it's there. Oh, I
Oh, wow, it is. Look at it.
activations. I do it all the
No,
time.
but I mean,
Oh, I
like,
see
would you
it.
tell
Yeah,
them?
yeah,
'Cause it
yeah.
might
Look how.
Look at it. Look at it. Look at
Yeah,
it.
you can see the slant.
That's not how you should shoot a basketball. Yeah.
But like, did you hide it because?
I wouldn't hide it because I shot 43% from 3.
So it works. So it helps you.
It's kind of a rookie of the year situation. It's kind of the injury makes it better.
Dude.
Rookie of the year, bro. This is brilliant.
So, and why didn't you try to do more catch and shoots? Because that was actually really good. The best.
No.
It seems like you're really good at it.
No,
like,
I
when
did
you
a
just
lot of catch and shoots.
you
I
know?
was a good catch and shoot player, and it's
Yeah.
fine you say that.
Yeah. I mean,
The way you said it, though,
I know,
was like
I know.
spot on.
I said it.
Spot on.
it's like he called
said
you a
it too
honky.
I was gonna say the recall thing. So when I first started calling games,
Like when you recall when I called you a cat.
yeah, when I first started calling games, I remember I had a Warriors game, and we were in the green room, and we were talking about my recall. So Raymond, who's their head of PR,
Yeah.
and Steve Kerr walk in, and whoever was, I think it was Ryan Rucco, but he was like, "Hey, Steve, do you have recall?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, I have recall, but I'm getting older now." Blah blah blah. And he's like, "Apparently JJ has crazy recall." So Raymond's in the room. I've called 12 Warriors games since then. Every single time he has a question for me about a specific game. So I'm like 11 for 11.
No.
And he comes to me on Saturday night and he's like, "What's the biggest lead your team has ever lost and to lose a game?" And I was like, "I think it was the lockout year." And he's like, "Do you remember anything about it, the opponent, the thing?" And I said, I can't. And it was the first time I didn't get
Wow.
it. But then once he said the game, I was like,
Were you
I
right
remember.
about lockout year?
It was the lockout year.
Well,
the Boston Celtics, each one more, came off the bench, had 5 threes. Avery Bradley, just complete. We were up like 24 and we lost. Yeah, I remember the game.
So what do you attribute that to? Because it seems
what
like a
is
thing
this?
a lot of maybe pro athletes, but NBA in particular have. Is that something that helps you as a pro? Like what? I just don't know where it comes from.
If I could turn my brain off, I would. It's not necessarily like, it's not a good thing.
Yeah.
It's not a good thing.
I
I was
think
in
a
the
lot
green
of-
room today at First Take, and Kimberly Martin, who does NFL, I didn't even know I was doing it, and she was like, "What is going on in your brain? Like, what is that face you're making? What is going on in
You're
your brain?"
staring at her feet.
No, I was literally looking out. I was looking out the window. I was looking at the fucking East River,
Right,
like
right.
this.
Yeah.
And she's like, "What's going on in your brain?" And I had one of my friends that still plays in the NBA had said, "I want to come stay with you this summer and work on some catch and shoot stuff." And I was literally going through the drills.
Wait,
we were
what
gonna
kind
do.
of stuff?
What did he want to work with you this summer?
Like movement shooting.
Oh,
Not
okay.
spot up shooting. Oh, you can do that on its own.
Okay.
I want you to know I was kidding,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I was trying to jab
But
you.
you hit a
keep
nerve.
confirming.
But
that
the brain,
you hit
the
a
brain is just
nerve.
like this. So like,
Yeah.
The you know, it's a good thing, but
Yeah.
then it's like you're constantly being reminded of every like. I'll have shit, and I'll like literally some days I'll be like, "Man, that one shot."
No.
Game 5 against the Boston Celtics in 2018. If I make that shot, we probably win Game 5. We go back to Philly. Maybe we force a Game 7. Like
How
that's
open
how my
were you?
brain. What?
How open were you?
I was wide open. Yeah, TJ McConnell drove baseline. I was on the left wing. They helped on him. We had a cut. Maybe side's been on the pass in defense, but and my shoulder did the thing. And my shoulder did the thing. And I was short.
Damn.
Yeah. Yeah.
But do you overthink sometimes, like because you're always on, constantly like calculating? Does that ever happen in game?
This is
Occasionally, but no.
I don't
Occasionally.
want to compare that, but there's a similar comic
It's too
thing.
fast. That's the thing I love.
I was gonna say
it happens on the golf course.
Right.
It
that's the
happens on
thing.
the golf course for sure.
It's all
That's a
things.
static sport.
Right.
basketball's freedom.
Yeah.
It's dynamic. It's just
No, it's freedom
constant.
from your brain.
Yeah.
You need to to be present every single second
Yeah,
of
you
the
can't
day
afford
because
to
you're
step out.
slow and white. So you know what I mean? Like in high school, you could check out, you could think about all these
Yeah.
different things, but but it
I remember Coach Collins, Chris Collins, came to a high school game my
Okay.
junior year. I
Okay.
committed to Duke at this point. Came to a game, and I had 28 points, 12 rebounds.
Recall, dude.
And he
Great.
called me after the game. We played Salem, and he called me after the game, and he's like, "Bro, I was so disappointed in your performance tonight. There were so many possessions that you took off." So your point, yeah, in high school it was
too
I could
easy.
go get 28 and 12 and just.
but
be
the
like,
league is
whatever.
perfect for you. Because for, what is it, an hour a night, 2 hours a night, your brain actually shuts off.
Yeah.
I think people feel that way about like surfing, definitely paddle, boxing.
As a comic, crowd work. I have a similar, my brain doesn't shut off. It's not always a good thing. I can't sleep a lot. My brain is just going. But part of the reason I think I'm good at crowd work is my brain just gets to listen and react. I don't have any time to overthink anything. What do you say? What's a clever response? That's it. So
First Take is like that for me.
Yeah. Gotta stay in the moment. It's live.
Yeah, it's live.
Yeah.
You're just in the moment.
I remember
calling games is like that too.
Oh yeah,
calling games for sure. Calling games is the hardest thing.
Yeah,
it's the hardest.
It's the hardest. Why?
It's because like even First Take, you have the topics ahead of time. You can
prepare.
I learned my first year. I was like, I got to be on every production call. So I every time I'm on First Take, I get on the production call at 7:30 in the morning, do the production call, then take my kids to school, come back home, get ready, go. So I know ahead of time exactly what we're going to talk about. Now sometimes Mad Dog may say something, Stephen A may say something that you react to in real time, but you're prepared. A game, I don't know what's going to happen in a game, and I've got to talk about it in a way that's not repetitive or redundant. It's not like, okay, I know Jokic is going to get post-ups. Well, I can't just keep saying he's posting up. So you have to think like on the fly all the time about what's happening and how you want to say it. Plus, I've worked a lot of 3-person booths. So last year, this year, I worked a lot with RJ. Now I'm working with Doris and Mike, and that is a challenge.
It's more of a challenge?
2-person booth.
Really?
Because probably there's less time to talk. You have to do everything quicker. Like explaining things that could take, you have unlimited time here.
The game is so fast
Basketball,
now, too.
yeah.
The game is like, it's not the NFL. It's not baseball.
Yeah.
Where there's 15 seconds between a pitch. Or NFL where you have 2 different replays after every single play.
Real quick, what are they saying your responsibility is in the booth?
To celebrate the game.
So
it's about the game.
So, but they're not saying that you have to do play-by-play.
That's Mike Breen, Hall of Famer.
Exactly. So they're basically, you're doing color commentary.
Color commentary.
Right.
Exactly.
So what does that exactly mean? Are you describing what that player is feeling in the moment, what play they should do, why they did that play?
Hopefully it's a mix of technical and conversation.
Got it.
You know, particularly in like a 3-person booth, you want to have like chemistry with the people.
When there's camaraderie, it's awesome.
For sure.
Yeah.
So then the other responsibility a lot of times is timeouts. Going to timeout, you get 1 or 2 replays, and then something called pod busters, which are essentially within a quarter or at the end of a quarter, they may show like a 2 or 3 play highlight package of LeBron scoring in transition or whatever it may be. Porzingis spotting up from 3, right? And you have to sort of cover that. But the play-by-play, I mean, that's like a skill that you have to go to school for and practice. And it's like, I didn't practice to be a color analyst.
No, totally. I'm just wondering what they say your responsibility is. Like, what do the producers, when they hire you for it, say that you have to bring to the broadcast?
My insight to basketball.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember my boss said to me, he was like, as much as you can share. But you have to do it in a way, it's something called laying out.
Yeah.
You have to be able to lay out too, which means laying out means you shut the fuck up. So like Tony Romo at the end of the Super Bowl didn't lay out. He didn't let Jim Nantz set the stage, right?
Yeah.
So
apparently, I heard a few people talking about this. It's a game-winning play in the Super Bowl. The announcer makes one line, and then you just let the crowd speak.
Yes.
The noise. This is add this, and Tony Romo
and
started talking.
even after a big moment. So that was the one piece of advice I got. So I never called a game. I begged my first year at ESPN. I was like, "Can I please call a game? Can I please call a game?" So they were like, "Fine, you can call Philly, New York, and I think it was New York, Miami, or Philly, Miami." So my first 2 games were regular season games in March, and the only piece of advice they said was like, "You just got to lay out sometimes. Don't overtalk." Joel Embiid texted me after the first game. He's like, "Dude, you didn't speak in the first quarter."
I'm curious, if one of my favorite young up-and-coming players makes it to the league, like, how would you pronounce his name?
Yo. It's a good thing that you don't announce football, huh?
Yeah, but, you know, I'm just saying.
You want another water?
Did you see this guy? Did you see this story?
I
This poor guy, right? Yeah. What a poor
We're
guy.
not going to see that name in any of your poems, are we?
Okay.
Have you ever had a player get mad for your commentary in the game?
Yeah. These are your friends, your contemporaries.
What do you mean by that?
Like you say something and you're like, oh, he did this thing wrong, and someone hits you up and they're like, no, that's not what happened. I did it differently. You didn't see it properly.
Not on a game. On some commentary, yeah.
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 And how do you handle that?
I just talk to them like we're friends.
And then they understand?
So I try to understand them.
Right.
I try to understand them. Yeah, it's happened. It's happened a few times. I can think of two off the top of my head. Yeah.
For example, can you share?
No.
Private stuff. Gotcha.
No.
Ever been threatened?
No.
Ever been threatened on the court?
Yeah.
Where?
KG.
Oh, KG came at me a few times.
Wait,
Yeah.
what'd he say?
I don't remember exactly what he said. So in 2009, I didn't play a lot at the time. And so Courtney Lee broke his face. Dwight Howard hit him at teammates.
Yeah.
Hit him with his elbow. He was a starter. So game 6 against Philly, closeout game in Philly. I start, play well. So we then play the defending champs Boston Celtics. And Stan comes to me. He's like, you're going to chase Ray Allen for the next however many games. He's like, you have no help responsibilities. Just chase
real
Ray.
quick. What's that like? This is Ray. That's your guy.
Hell.
Okay.
Okay.
But fucking cool, probably.
It was the coolest thing ever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're chasing him.
So I'm chasing him. So, anyways, KG was hurt that series.
Yeah, I remember.
So he's on the bench, but he's still KG. You know what I mean? He's still animated, talking, and it was like every time I would go by their bench, he's got a comment, you know? And then I remember one time we were playing him when he was back in Minnesota. This was like 2015-ish, whatever. I was with the Clippers, and he tried me. Like, you know what I mean? He tried to get me going, tried to get me to respond to something, and I didn't. And then I hit a big shot, and he told Sam Cassell after that game, he was like, yeah, I knew that white boy was going to hit something. I knew I had to try to get him out of the game.
I mean,
this KG, man.
so the finals that year, you make it, you play the Lakers, it's Kobe.
Yeah.
And I don't mean it's disrespectful. He's probably thinking on some level, oh, I got to avoid the Celtics who beat me last year. KG was hurt. What's that whole situation like? You're playing the finals for the first time. You're playing Kobe. What is that like?
It was interesting. So I started 7 straight playoff games. And then we played Cleveland in the conference championship. I didn't play in game 1. I played 9 minutes in the second quarter, had 7 points. Did not play any of the other games. So go into the finals, did not play.
Why though?
In game 1, it's a blowout. I get at the end, and the Lakers, Phil didn't take his starters off, so Kobe's still out there. So I'm guarding him at the end of this game, and I hit a 3, and I think I got like, I'm going to be not generous, but factual here. I think I got 2 stops against Kobe late in the fourth quarter. They're going to win the game. 2 stops. But it was like, I battled them. You know what I mean? Felt good about it. So then I'm like, oh. So then I played in game 2. We lose. We go down 2-0. I don't play in game 3. Game 4, I play a lot. Game 5, I don't play till the end of the game in the fourth quarter. So it's a very like up and down thing. I always tell people this. It wasn't like a highlight because we lost and it fucking hurt so bad and it was the closest I ever got. But truthfully, like the high point of my career was getting to guard. I guarded Kobe Bryant in the NBA finals.
Yeah.
There's like, you know, I have multiple pictures saved of like me and him. There are pictures of him and I'm in the background. But it's like, that's something that, you know,
You'll tell your
my
grandkids
grandkids for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome.
1,000%.
Greatest player you've ever played against?
You're gonna put it there.
I'm really curious.
He's the greatest player I ever guarded. Like
ever
I
guarded.
had to guard.
Yeah.
I didn't have to guard LeBron.
Right.
I didn't necessarily have to guard Steph. Right.
Yeah.
But those 3 guys.
Yeah.
And I'll put Katie in there too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Those are the 4. Those are the 4. Yeah.
And did you feel like when you were going up against him, outside of natural gifts, extreme preparation, did you feel like he just knew what was happening on the floor at all points in time?
Kobe?
Yeah.
I've told this story once before. So my senior year of college, was the first year that they did a pool for USA Basketball. They do this now all the time. They say there's 40 names or 25 names, whatever it is, that are being considered for these 12 roster spots. For, at the time, it was the 06, it was World Championships. So me and Adam Morrison get named as pool players. That first summer, I had a herniated disc at L5-S1, so I didn't do Summer League, I didn't do USA Basketball, but I got to go out and watch. The next summer, because they didn't win, they had to qualify. So this was like a 12-day training camp prior to qualifying. So I got to spend time around everybody. 2 stories from that. Number 1, first day I get there, I land at whatever, noon Vegas time. I hit up Coach Collins and Coach Wojo, who are helping Coach K out, and I say, I need to get in the gym. So I get in the gym. Coach Dawkins comes. He looks haggard, like he looks exhausted. I'm like, JD, what the fuck's going on? He's like, Kobe, man, he had me in here at 6 a.m. He was in here for 3 hours. He was working on the counter to the counter to the counter, and he had to make 10 shots in a row. Like, this was the type of dude. All those stories about Kobe being a psycho worker, they're all true.
Yeah.
So that was cool. End of the first practice comes, and Kobe is like, hey, do you want to shoot? And I'm like, yeah, I'll shoot. And at the time, I'm thinking, he wants to shoot with me because he's being a good guy.
Yeah.
And then we shoot. Like 15 minutes into it, I realize he's watching how I shoot. So watching how I'm catch the ball, watching my footwork.
Wow.
He's trying to pick something up. And I'm not saying like, he's picking it up good, but he was just always trying to learn. He was always trying to get better.
I was thinking to defend you.
I thought he was trying to. I thought he was trying to demoralize you. Like, you think you could shoot?
He was watching. No, he was watching my form. Yeah, I had a reputation from Duke. Like, he was literally watching to try and pick something up.
Yeah. And do you think that he caught anything?
No, probably not. Probably not. Wow. I wasn't that good. One of my favorite parts of the the Redeem Team documentary is when everybody's talking about, Kobe told everybody, we're up at 6 in the morning. Everybody's like, so we started getting up at 6 in the morning. We're working out, and then it cuts to Melo, and he goes, "I'll be honest, I ain't waking up at 6 in the morning." Bosh and D Wade have told the story where they all go out, they come back, they get back to the hotel. Kobe's like, they're back at 6 a.m. He's at the breakfast table with ice on his knees because he just got done working out.
Yeah,
this is fucking psycho shit, man.
Are there any people that can excel in the NBA at that level without an extreme work ethic?
No,
you just can't do it.
No,
right?
No.
So like, explain.
Braun and I were talking about this on episode 1 of our show, Mind the Game.
Also, if you haven't watched the game, let me plug.
It literally is because
if you haven't watched it, it is the best podcast out right now. If you are a casual fan of basketball, you will be obsessed. And if you're obsessed with basketball, forget this is everything you want. They're not trying to water down the game.
Yeah.
There are 2 basketball nerds geeking out over basketball and don't give a flying fuck if you understand it or not. And I actually like what you did in the beginning where you explained a few of the plays. I thought that was really important. Yeah. And then bringing it out during it was very helpful.
You get the graphics.
Love it. Because showing replays. I saw a social clip and it didn't have it, the little clip I saw.
You know what's funny? It was the only thing we couldn't find something for after the fact. We found it on WNBA and we found it in college basketball.
Because
that coverage of the baseline out of bounds play, we couldn't find it in the NBA.
It's interesting.
And now people have posted shit on this was the Thunder in 2019. Motherfucker, I couldn't find that clip.
But I remember seeing that clip before I watched the episode going, "Oh, it'd be so nice if they had like graphics or something so we would understand." And I remember, and then the beginning of the episode, you're explaining these few plays. Anyway, it's fucking awesome. I'm sure all of you have already watched it. If not, go watch it. And they're continuing to release episodes. So you were saying.
Anyways, the only reason that it popped in my brain is because we put the social clip out today where he talks about this. Like the idea of being elite in the NBA and not working to an extreme level, right? It's impossible. And the thing he says, which I laughed at and I think it's hilarious, is he said, what does discipline mean? Discipline means you sacrifice loved ones.
Yo, that was crazy.
But it's like, it's actually.
I thought what you said was great too, which is like, you're like, I've said to my wife and family, this is a selfish endeavor.
I had so much guilt over that.
And
my wife, I'm traveling all season.
Yeah.
I'm traveling all season, right? We have 41 road games, playoffs. I'm locked in. There was a time I had to guard James Harden a lot when I played for the Clippers and he was on the Rockets. And we had a Sunday ABC game and her family was in town, her parents and her aunt. And we went to this little Mexican place in in Manhattan Beach, and I was fucking zoned out.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Kimberly Martin in the green room today. I was zoned out thinking about what am I doing with my footwork when James goes to this move, right? I'm thinking about this shit. We get home, Chelsea's like, where the fuck were you at dinner? And I was like, I'm literally thinking about guarding James Harden tomorrow. I'm sorry, I couldn't be there. So not only when I was in season, when I wasn't like on the road, I wasn't there all the time, right? And so I had this tremendous sense of guilt. And I found this quote about, you know, striving for greatness is the stupidest thing, but it wasn't the quote, but it's like, that is a selfish pursuit. Yeah. And I had to like accept it and live with it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
sucks.
the people that love you also have to accept it.
Yeah. And Chelsea has. Thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God.
It is, but it's a good perspective to have because it's very easy to like flip it and frame it as, hey, I'm a provider and that's all I do. And it's like, no, we do this for ourselves too. Yeah. And the people that love us understand that it, you know, feeds our souls as well. And then we also happen to provide a pretty awesome life, and that's great. People benefit. But once you got that 23 million from the 76ers, you could have taken off a little bit, but you're like, fuck it, send me to Dallas.
This is my problem in life. Yeah. It's a good thing and a bad thing.
Okay.
So I was very routine oriented, and it wasn't just the routine of like, oh, this is how I'm going to put my socks on. I meant the work. The work was very routine. And so what happened throughout my career is this is my baseline level of work. And once it became manageable, this is my baseline level of work. And once it became manageable, this is my baseline. And the same fucking thing is happening right now.
I can see it.
In media.
You got 3 podcasts.
It's like,
you're on ESPN.
Like last year, I added a second show on Monday, right? I started calling games full time. It was a little bit of a trip. And then I got to the point I was like, okay, I figured out how to manage this. And all of a sudden it's like, all right, well, let's do a LeBron show. Yeah. You know? Yeah. And it's, I don't think there's anything beyond this for me. I don't know if I can add anything else.
This is it. But at the same time, you're filling your plate. I imagine you're not the guy who's just going to be able to sit back, relax, and sip a mint julep. You need a cook.
All right, guys, we're going to take a break real quick because we got to talk about the world's largest smart wallet brand right here, this bad boy, Extra. That's ours. It's a Flagrant Extra that they made that they sold out of, but obviously that's the one we use. This is an innovative solution designed to improve everything about your wallet. First of all, it has 2 key tracker features. That means it's trackable worldwide. That means if you lose your wallet all the time like me, or if somebody steals it, you can track it. It's also voice activated, so if you lose your wallet in the house, just call that shit. It works with Google Home, it works with Alexa, it works with Siri, it works with everything. And most importantly, if you travel a lot, these wallets offer RFID protection. It happens. I don't know how, they don't even need your wallet anymore. They just, boop, they take all your information. This offers RFID protection, which basically means it protects you against identity theft, against skimming, and because it's Flagrant, we're offering you up to 25% off site-wide with the code FLAGRANT at shopextra.com. So check out all of these. Also right here, I didn't even get to this. This is the best part. You need your cards. You don't got to dig it. Look at that. Boom. Everything pops up right there. See that? All the cards right there. So check out these wallets and more at shop.extra.com/flagrant. This is the Flagrant wallet. This is the one. This one's not available anymore. This is the one you guys could get right there. You see that? Boom, same features, everything. Shop.extra.com/flagrant and get up to 25% off site-wide with the code FLAGRANT at shop.extra.com/flagrant. Love you guys. Let's get back to the show.
All right, guys, we're going to take a break for a second because some of you guys have a bad habit and you need to quit it, okay? You're going to give yourself lung cancer, emphysema, heart disease, God knows what else. But instead of quitting cold turkey, here's your solution. It's Fume. It's right here. Fume. It's not about giving up, it's about switching up. Fume takes your habit and simply makes it a better, healthier, and a whole lot more enjoyable. This right here is Fume, okay? Innovative, award-winning flavor air device that does just that. Instead of the vapor that's going to give you all that nasty stuff, Fume uses flavored air. And instead of electronics, Fume is completely natural. And instead of harmful chemicals, Fume uses delicious flavors. I go with the mint. It's plain and simple, nice and cooling, refreshing. You take the drag. It's also got this beautiful little fidget spinner right here. It is perfect for what our generation needs, which is constant distraction and constant calm. Plus, Fume just released a magnetic stand for your Fume, so there's no more losing it around the house. It is built with fidgeting in mind. You can spin your Fume around. Now, Start off your year right with a good habit by going to tryfume.com/flagrant and getting the journey pack today. Fume is giving listeners of this show 10% off when they use our code flagrant to help make starting the good habit that much easier. Try Fume. Let's get back to the show.
Oh, yeah. On that note, I want to tell you this while we're on air. I'm not being hyperbolic. I think you are truly changing the way basketball is analyzed. I think a lot of it before was guys kind of like me who are not really athletic, just saying things. And then to have a basketball player who played at a high level, wasn't just a catch and shoot guy, but then talking about like unapologetically, here is what my opinions are at the highest level. I think it sets a precedent now for what this starts to become, basketball analysis, maybe sports analysis. And I'm not being hyperbolic. I really think you are changing the trajectory of what a sports analyst is.
That's really interesting because before, maybe the basketball guys weren't skilled at the analysis part and then just speaking on camera part.
Yeah, the communication part.
Yeah, the communication part is hard. It's an art also, right? And people are doing that, you know, dedicating their whole lives to do it. But now you have an expectation where not only should you be able to communicate effectively, you better have also played the game. Yeah.
I want to respond to what you just said, and I appreciate that. And it's like, truly, I mean this. It means something to me to hear you say that.
Doesn't mean a lot. It just means something.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
Because you recognize, I think, what is important to me. I want to be clear on this though. I don't want to change anything. I want to fill a void. Because there are always going to be people that want to be entertained in a certain way. Sports is an escape. Fandom is an escape. And that's important. Yeah. And like, how am I taxed as an NBA player? I'm taxed as an entertainer. I know what I'm providing. Fandom is part of people's identity. It's an escape. And in some ways, sports media is that too. So I'm not trying to change anything. No, I'm trying to fill a void.
And it's interesting
for what I see.
When you first came on the air, I remember thinking, "Oh, this has been missing." And now I'm looking at you and like, "Oh, I don't know. It's not a Pandora's box, the only parallel I can think of." But like now that we've seen this,
maybe there's another way to add to the ancillary coverage of sport. Yeah.
Yes.
And the ancillary way we talk about sports.
It kind of feels like when Tony Romo started announcing and he started like breaking down the game a little bit more and less just like trying to entertain. And that's what I feel.
And he was like guessing plays.
Yeah.
And it was really exciting to watch because he'd be right.
And the difference here is when you hear guys who comment on sports like broadcasting, they will say Romo seems to have gotten lazier, for lack of a better word. I don't think anybody's ever going to say that about you. It's constant prep. It's constant knowing the game in and out and just like obsession.
How do NBA players go broke?
They don't anymore.
Is that right? Why is that?
Shocked, bro. I'd be shocked.
Tell me.
All right. So I'll tell you how it happens.
Yeah.
Happened more. So I don't know what the average, but during my career, the average NBA career was like 4.5 years, roughly. Okay, so if you play 4.5 years, that means you're not getting to a real second contract. You're likely making $750, 1.2, 1.5. Maybe you get an exception, 2.9. Okay, so you've made $8 million over 4.5 years. Let's call it you made $10 million over 5 years. All right, you've got $5 million to spend. You're in the NBA, you're going to get a nice car, you're probably going to buy a nice house, but you're going to take care of your parents. Before you spend another dollar, you're like, you got to pay your agent. Right. So you're not how is that supposed to last you the rest of your life? There were guys that I played with that I felt at the time, oh, you played 10 years and you made $35 million. All right, do the math on that. Add in the spending. That's how it happens. Like my financial advisor, he told me that from day one. I'm like, it's all about spending. It's not all about the intake. It's the outtake too. It's what you go spend money on, right? Now, the reason I say it's just not going to happen as much now is, have you fucking seen these contracts?
Yeah, they're making big money.
Yeah.
Even the rookies? What's a rookie contract?
They changed the rookie scale.
Okay.
They changed the rookie scale. So like my rookie contract was 4 years, 8.9. Which was, I mean, I was broke. Did not have money. That was a shitload of money, right? Very grateful for every dollar I made. The 11th pick now, I don't know the exact number. He's probably making 20.
Okay, so even with
for reference, most of my career, the mid-level exception was around $5 million a year.
And now?
Which was like, you're a rotation player.
Yeah. What is it now?
The average
It's 12 and a half.
So,
So a max contract. Think about coming out of the lockout. There were a few guys that were on their rookie deals that went and signed a max contract, right? And it was like 4 years, 58. Vince Carter and Chauncey Billups, when you're signed max contracts, 4 years, 64. Jaylen Brown just signed a max contract, 5 years, $304 million.
Jeez.
There's a difference.
Wow.
There's a
Okay.
difference.
So even those guys that are just getting that rookie deal are probably making life-changing money.
Zion Williamson, #1 pick. He's going to make he made $44 million on his rookie deal.
On
4
his
years.
rookie.
Wow. Yeah.
And if you get to that second contract, forget it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you, it was your third or your fourth that where you actually really made money?
I did. You pocket watching here?
Yeah. Son, I got the notes. Because I know about the big...
The Philly deal.
The
yeah.
Philly deal was...
So I did a 3-year deal with Chicago that was good money. I did a 4-year deal with LA that was good money. Those were both around like 6 or 7 a year.
Yeah.
You know, and
But
then Philly, and then I did another 1-year deal with Philly, and then I did a 2-year deal with New Orleans.
What'd you get for yourself when you did the when you got that Philly deal? Because I know that's a nice, real special thing. You had to get yourself
So it's
something
interesting.
nice.
That was 2017.
Yeah.
For like 5 years, I was obsessed with vintage watches.
Ooh.
Obsessed.
Okay.
Like I'm an obsessive deep diver person.
No.
Yeah. So I collected whatever. I had one point I was like, am I a dealer? Am I a watch dealer? Is that my
Okay, what'd you get yourself?
So I'm gonna tell you. So 2017, my parents were fucking stressed to the nines. They'd been retired for a few years, but like not enjoying it. So I called them up to New York. I had I'm one of 5. We had all the siblings come in, and we're basically like, pick a city where you have grandkids. So you can live in New York, you can live in Denver, you can live in Raleigh, but you got to pick a city. I'm going to buy you a house, and I'm going to, you know,
Take care of it.
yeah, I'm going to take care of you, take care of it. So that's essentially what I did with, not all the money. Like,
Man, I
that
thought
was
you were
my-
going to tell us a watch story.
Didn't you sell the watches
that-
to get to
I,
that? That's not.
I didn't have a car. I didn't have a car when I moved to New York.
Yeah.
Because I had like a deal where I had a free Tahoe. So I had this Tahoe, and I moved to New York. I'm not gonna have a Tahoe in New York.
Yeah.
So I gave it back to the dealership in LA. And I get to New York, and I'm like, what's the cheapest nice car I can lease? This was after I signed my deal.
Okay.
So I've got to get a Range Rover Sport. So I'm driving that to games
nice
or
car.
whatever. The
You're driving to Philly. I forgot
yeah,
you lived in New York.
The valet guys at the arena, you know, Ben's pulling up in his shit. Joel,
think you're driving your
Joel
wife's
the time
car.
didn't have a license, but everybody's got like nice cars. And I remember them saying to me like, "Why don't you have a nice car?" And I'm like, "It's a Range Rover Sport. It's a nice car, man." What am I-
How did you not let the money affect your desire to be great? Like, have you seen that with guys where they make that first check and they go, let me coast a little bit.
I found a great quote at one point in my life. It's so corny. I'm gonna say it anyways. You've never arrived, you're always becoming, right?
Yeah.
It's the idea.
Oh, that's fine.
I remember there were guys, so my McDonald's All-American game was in Madison Square Garden.
Okay.
First time I ever played on national television, right? I remember being there and getting the sense like all anybody was talking about, like, I'm going to the league, I'm going to the league, I'm going to the league. That was not my mindset. My mindset was like, I want to destroy these motherfuckers this week. And then I got the Capital Classic next week in DC. I want to destroy them. I want to get ready for Duke. There was never like this sense of I've made it. Even like late in my, there was a paranoia. You know what I mean? I'm sure you feel
A paranoia about what?
You guys don't feel that?
No,
A
we
paranoia?
might. Just explain what you're saying.
A paranoia that somebody's going to take your shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That everything you work for isn't really going to work out. Yeah.
And I don't want to call it imposter syndrome, but there's I think people that are just like, I want to be great at this thing.
Yeah.
There's guess what? There's a lot of people that want to be great at basketball. There's a lot of people. And, you know, young guys would come in every year. There's 30 first round picks. There's 30 second round picks. There's guys coming over from overseas. And you're like, all right, my job, like everybody wants my job. I'm gonna have to do everything I can to keep it. It wasn't I wanted to make money. Don't get me wrong. Fuck.
Is it hard
I
to
wanted this suit.
But is it hard to separate that? Like, you have to be on a team, you have to congeal, you have to believe in these guys, they have to fight for you, they have to support you. But at the same time, their ability to provide for their families could be affected by you. And your ability to provide for your family could be affected by them. They're trying to come for your spot. Can you ever really like love one another and really get on the same page?
There's that's always underlying in professional sports, I think. Particularly in, I really believe this, particularly in basketball. You know, baseball, you bat every 9 times. It's you play a position. You're specialized. You don't know when a guy's going to hit a grounder to the shortstop, right? Pitchers, they pitch every 5 days. Football, same sort of deal. I'm sure there's internal competition for a position, but again, there's a job that the left tackle has to do. There's a job that the tight end has to do. In basketball, it's like everybody has a job for sure, but it requires a lot. Soccer's a similar thing. It requires a lot. And typically, the people that score the most get the most, right? There's a finite amount of resources. So it's always underlying. But I never felt like, at least the locker rooms I was in, there was this competition to like, if I get this, you don't get this. I never felt that.
Really? There was never anybody coming for your spot. When you're starting with the Clippers, you never felt, well, I guess Jamal would be the one coming in, but like there was never at any team where you were starting to get more minutes and you were taking them, quote unquote, from somebody?
My first year in Philly, we made the conference finals. I was the second leading scorer on the team, and we, our 5-man starting lineup had it was the best 5-man starting lineup in the entire NBA that year. In terms of like net rating per 100 possessions or whatever. And they come to me my second year and they said, we want to start Markelle Fultz and have you come off the bench. And I said, okay, that's fine.
No,
because
because you just made 23 million.
No, no, it wasn't that at all. It was like, I remember Brett Brown, he got a 6-minute recording from Manu Ginobili talking about, it was to me. Manu was talking about, you know, his emotional experience of Pop telling him he was going to come off the bench and not start. And we got done with the recording. I was like, I love Manu. He's one of my favorite players ever. I was like, Brett, you didn't have to do that. I literally don't care.
That's kind of nice.
Because I knew, because I knew like I was gonna play 30 minutes a game. I was gonna get 2-man action with Joel. I was gonna be on the break with Ben Simmons, doing catch and shoot threes. Like it was like,
well, one of y'all got to shoot threes. It ain't gonna be Ben.
Why do I don't care about fucking starting. It was important at one point in my life, to be like, I'm a starter in the NBA.
Yeah.
Well, once that happened, I didn't fucking care.
Okay, so once you check that off, it wasn't there. Okay, Coach K.
Oh yeah.
Exceptional. My understanding is exceptional leader. That's what I've been told by people. Maybe not the X's and O's or offensive genius like Mike D'Antoni, but in terms of his ability to get people on the same page and lead, exceptional. Was that your experience with him?
Yes.
And what makes him so exceptional?
Say 3 things about Coach. Number 1, my dad is like my hero. Coach is the next guy. And then it's like everybody else. And I've been around some fucking phenomenal people and I had some great mentors and some great coaches. But those 2 guys, they're special. Second thing is, I never saw him have a bad day. Did he make mistakes? Sure. He made mistakes, like a substitution or a game plan. Like he made mistakes. But he put every single thing into every day. Wright Thompson wrote this article on him during his last season. It's this notion like Coach would light himself on fire. And we all saw that. We all saw that. We get back from Blacksburg, Virginia after a loss, and we have a 2-hour meeting at 3 a.m. in the morning. And come to practice the next day. Coach was in here at 6 a.m. watching film. You know, he went home, showered, said hi to Mickey, said hi to his dogs, came back. Like he was fully invested at all times. It was an incredible lesson to learn when you're 19 years old, what that looks like. And I got to see it. The other thing I would say is like when people talk about him, the good qualities, the leadership qualities, the communication, the motivation qualities, they're all true and then some. Like they're all true.
And how would he motivate you? Did he lock in specifically to a part of your personality and coach you in a unique way?
There were certain guys that required like a little nudging. I was not one of those guys, but I still got tested a lot. And sometimes it was just like a word. You're being...
Catch and shooty.
No, you're being, you're being this.
A bitch?
Yeah. Like that sort of thing.
Really? He would use curse words?
No, I mean, not like, I'm not using that word, but like
You're playing the like implication
a pussy.
Or something.
And it was like that. It was like that. Or you're like, I remember one time you're being a brat. I was like, fuck. you're a fraud. You're an entitled prick. Like it was stuff like that.
So he would play into
Yeah.
what he thought maybe your insecurities were, and then
some of that came from Coach Collins too. But they obviously talked. So it's like,
yeah,
it was just like that stuff. The worst thing that any coach has ever said to me came from Coach K, and it was after my sophomore year. Really struggled that year. Wanted to quit. That was like the height of like everybody hates
JJ.
me. Yeah, everybody hates me. Tried to quit in December. My sisters talked me out of it. Really struggled second semester. I played well for most of the season, but I really struggled. Started taking antidepressants, started seeing a therapist, and I was a fucking knucklehead. I was out. I was like living the frat life and trying to play Duke basketball. And like they knew that this was happening. So the season ends. So for 4 straight Saturdays, he made me come in at 8 a.m. to meet with him. And in one of those meetings, we lost to UConn in the Final Four that year. And in one of those meetings, he said to me, we didn't win a national championship because you weren't worthy of being a champion. And that fucking crushed me. And it changed my life also.
How?
No coach could ever say that about me again.
In that you were always prepared, always dedicated, 100%.
Great teammate, all that stuff.
Now, does Coach K know, this is what I'm assuming, he knows that you have the constitution to handle criticism like that, and that is a motivator, where some people that might kind of crumble them.
I think that's one of his gifts.
Is to what, measure character?
No, just like knowing what is required with each player. I coach my my kids' travel team, and it's some of that is like I can talk to this kid this way, I can coach a kid this. It's not just like verbal confrontation. It's how you coach a kid, trying to figure out how they're motivated, what their triggers are, like getting them to get buy-in, like all that stuff. He has a gift with figuring that out for each individual guy. That was part of his gift, I think.
Wow. And would he set aside time to figure out each one of you? So there would be non-basketball activities. You guys would just meet in the office, like what?
2 meetings that stand out. As soon as I got on campus, I just turned 18 years old, and he met with every freshman. We were doing summer school before our freshman year, and he had me in there and he said, "What do you hope to accomplish at Duke?" That's the framework. So he holds on to that. Going into my second year, we had the same sort of meeting. What do you want to do this year? And I had written down these goals. I tell him the goals, and he goes, "And what exactly have you done this summer to accomplish that?" Like, I think going back, we're going to go full circle here. Going back to high school, I always practiced and I always worked. I didn't miss games. Like, I was always in it. Going back to high school, because it was easier, there was this, it was wrong to think this way, but it's the truth. In high school, it's like, well, I'm going to grow. I'm going to get stronger. I'm going to, get a new level of testosterone, and I'm going to be better than I was last year. And I'm going to be better than I was the year before. And then you get to your senior year, like, okay, I'm really good. I'm better than I was as a freshman. And the older you get, it just doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
You step up a level of competition, and it's like, so, I had a good freshman year, and my mindset was like, I did what they asked me to do, but I didn't do extra. I didn't go above and beyond. Here's a conditioning. Okay, I'll do the conditioning workout, but I didn't try to win the conditioning workout. That's the difference. And so and it was really between my sophomore and junior year, once I got that in my brain of like, what are you willing to do that no one else is willing to do? Okay, now I can like actually write down some things on a piece of paper and try to go accomplish that.
What'd you write down that year?
I never wrote down another goal in my life.
Why?
Why would I? I can't control the goals. I really believe that. Like I learned like you can't. I can control what I can control, and that is the work. That is my approach. That is my preparation. I can control how I interact with people. I had like a couple blow-ups in the NBA. I joke all the time with like people. I'm like, NBA is so competitive and so high stress. Everybody should be allowed 2 blow-ups a year. You know what I mean?
Yeah, what were your blow-ups?
So like I just remember like a couple of them. There was one that I had in Milwaukee, and one that I had in my last year with the Clippers. And both were with coaches, honestly. I don't think I ever had a blow up with a teammate. I certainly, like, certain teammates, we would be direct with each other.
Yeah.
But it was never like a blow up.
Right.
To coach in Milwaukee, I was guarding Ben Gordon, and they were running a dribble handoff on one side, and the big would dribble handoff with him, and he turned the corner, and it's Ben Gordon. I can't go underneath the dribble handoff because he's just going to shoot a three. He's got insane shooter. So I would chase over the top, and obviously I'm chasing, so I'm behind him now. The big wasn't providing help, and he scored a couple times on floaters. So we go to a timeout, and the big was Josh McRoberts, who I played with at Duke, insane passer. So they're like, top lock him, which means basically get on the high side of him, deny him from coming off the dribble handoff. And I said to him, but he's just going to backdoor and get a layup. Like, why would I play the defense that way? And that led to one thing to another, and I blew up, and I regret that. I do regret that. And then Brendan O'Connor, who's he's one of my favorite coaches I've ever had, we tried to implement a defensive coverage against the Pistons mid-game that we'd never practiced before.
Yeah.
And we went over it in film afterwards. It didn't work in the game. It's actually a good concept. We just never practiced it. And so I was kind of like, when you're unsure in the NBA on coverage, you're going to get fucked. Yeah. You're like, the split second you hesitate, you're done.
Yeah.
So we talked about it in the film session the next day, and I like pushed back a little bit on the coverage, and one thing led to another. And then he said to me, just shut the fuck up and do your job.
Whoa.
And that was very hurtful to me because I'm like, that's all I do is my job.
Yeah.
And I went ballistic. I blacked out. I don't know what I said. And I went and sat on the bus while everybody else shot around for 30 minutes.
No way.
Yeah.
And have you spoken to the coaches since?
Well, Jim, I never really came across again. I would always be friendly with him.
Yeah.
That was Jim Boyan, not the coach from Chicago, but Jim, who was the older guy. He ended up going to Cleveland with T. Lou.
Yeah.
It was fine. Things happen. It's all good. Brendan O'Connor, every time I see him, we joke about it.
About it?
Oh, yeah. He calls me Bubs because I called everybody Bubs because of white chocolate. Yeah.
Yeah, Jason Williams is the man, dude.
Who's the best player leader that you played with? Someone that in the locker room congealed the whole group, where you were like, I'll fucking go through a brick wall for this guy?
So CP was a great leader.
Really?
He had a very direct style of leadership.
I thought everybody hates him.
No, he had a very direct style of leadership.
Okay.
And so that was
That's a nice.
He does have that rep.
Yeah.
That people don't like playing with him and hate it.
Honestly, probably the two best guys, and they were very influential for me for how they led, was early in my career. I had Rashard Lewis and I had Jameer Nelson, and those guys for me were like the best.
And what did they do that inspired you?
Jameer was a connector. So Jameer was big on like team dinners. He would have everybody to Philly for a week. He would set up paintball. He would set up a Phillies game. We did batting practice with the Phillies.
Awesome.
Like, he was just like a connector. So it was that idea of like, we're on a team, let's be friends.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's a very simple thing, and we all had that probably in high school. But you don't necessarily have that in the NBA and professional sports. So like, he was like a connector. Rashard, it's funny because I talked with Ray about this on the podcast, but like, Rashard learned how to work from Ray. I learned how to work from Rashard. I'll never forget, like, Rashard Lewis, first day he shows up after he signs his, at the time, the biggest contract in the NBA.
100 million, 7 years,
106 years to 123 million. Keep pocket watching.
Yeah. We got it. We got it. It's the only thing we can do.
No, but he I'll never forget, like, I'd been around the league 1 year, and he had that mentality that I talked about, like, where it's like, it's not like I didn't arrive, I didn't make it. I still got to do the work.
Yeah.
And I'm watching him work out, and he's like hour and a half, full lather, working on every single part of his game. Comes back the next day, does it again. And that's how he was the whole time I was his teammate. It was like a consistency to him. And I think the best leaders are consistent.
Consistent, yeah.
The same guy every day. Best compliment I ever got as an NBA player. And I really mean this. Philly, my second year there, Philly wrote an article about, I don't remember the angle of the article, but there was a quote in there from Jimmy, and he was like, I love being JJ's teammate because he's the same guy every day. And I was like, fuck, Yes.
That's dope.
And
That's
an
awesome.
incredibly chaotic environment like the NBA, having that consistency is probably amazing.
Yeah.
You don't know if you're getting traded. You don't know if you're getting minutes. You don't know the defense are throwing at you. But there's a guy every single day is going to show up and get to work. And that's probably helpful for coach, too.
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler, what makes him different? He was like not a highly drafted player, second round, I want to say, and now he's.
What makes him different?
I mean, watching just his mentality seems different than everyone else's.
He has a constant chip on his shoulder, and he's incredibly intelligent, and he has a real like belief in self.
Mm-hmm.
He has a real belief in self.
Yeah.
It's like unbreakable.
Yeah.
It's unbreakable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned you regret blowing up on those two coaches. Do you regret the little blow up you had with Doc?
I regret the tone.
But not anything you said.
No, what I said, I mean, what I said is what I believe. Like, I don't have. There's not an agenda with that. My job is to comment on the NBA, and that's one of the biggest stories in the entire NBA ecosystem this year. I was just making a point. It's like what had happened since he got the job. Even that morning, I'm driving into work, and there was something in there about him, you know, basically taking credit for the James Harden trade. And it was like, I just was like, interesting. And then they played the sound, and I was like, And then Shannon didn't say anything, and Stephen A didn't say anything. I was like, I regret the tone.
You filled the void.
It's the tone seemed too personal, and I regret that.
Okay. Yeah. And there was no person. And Doc, I assume, would get it. He was a commentator as well. You have to have something to say.
Yeah, I've talked to him since.
Okay, yeah.
It's all good.
How do you feel about? Oh, sorry.
Well, when do we see you coaching? I know that we got to wrap this up, but when do we see you coaching? Is that of any interest to you?
It is of interest. Like, not putting any time frame on it.
But that is something that, given the
point,
opportunity, it will happen.
Yeah. The one thing I'll say, like, so when I retired, it was very difficult. I think for any athlete, you can have a like secure sense of self and a secure ego and a secure identity. It's inevitable that what you do becomes part of that identity.
Of course.
And so letting go of that, I'm not being hyperbolic here. It is a fucking death.
Yeah.
It is a death.
Yeah.
It's very hard for me to let go of that. And my therapist that I talk to now, like, he was very helpful in I knew I wanted to retire. Saying the words, I'm retiring, I'm done. I couldn't do it on my own. And so we talked about it. It was a very helpful session. I was like, okay, I'm ready. So I did it. Very next session, he's like, all right, let's look forward. But by looking forward, we need to talk about what are the things you loved about playing that you hope to get in the next phase. And it was competition, performance anxiety, and collaboration, being on a team, right? Fast forward a year, and I realized there was a fourth piece that I loved, and it was particularly like fulfilling at the end of my career in Philly and New Orleans, and that's leadership. And so when I think about coaching, it's like filling all of those things. And so I'm not, it's like coaching to me is about timing, and it's about situation. I love what I'm fucking doing right now. I'm good.
It's going to be hard to pull you out of it.
Yeah.
But the right opportunity, maybe.
I'm going down the rabbit hole right now in this thing. So it's like, I can't be pulled out right now.
Yeah. Okay, just tell me real quick why retirement was so tough and the immediate sensation after you announce it.
Why it was so tough? Because I just genuinely loved it. It's like,
did you stop? My understanding is that you're still doing drills, or you're still working out, you're still getting shots up.
No,
that's
never.
My understanding is that you may or may not have a key to a gym out east, and you get some shots up. Listen,
I'm with my kids. I'm with my kids.
That's my understanding, is that you got guys rebounding for you out east, and then you're getting shots up. I swear, this is what I've heard.
No, it's not true. That's not true. It's not true. It's not true.
Okay.
The most shots I've ever taken at one time in retirement was like 3 weeks ago over All-Star break. I took my kids to Disney World for the first time, and the hotel had a really nice outdoor court. And so that's all they wanted to do. Once we got back at like 12:30, 1 o'clock, the rest of the afternoon, they would just play. We're up in New York. It's freezing. It's nice out there. So they were just like, I want to be outside. I want to play basketball. So I'm like, great. So the first day, they were on one side of the court because they didn't want to do drills. So I was just like, I'm going to grab a ball. And I started shooting. And I probably took 50 shots. I worked my way out to like the NBA line of the NBA line. So just inside half court. And it was like, but I was like shooting jumpers. You know what I mean? And then I woke up the next day and I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
I'm so sore.
Yeah.
And I probably took 50 shots
Yeah.
by myself. Like that was it.
Wait, sorry. You said you want to coach. What player would you most like to coach in today's NBA?
Wow.
Great question.
Wow.
I'm
gonna
hoping.
you know what, I'm gonna go with an easy one for me.
Yeah.
And hopefully this is non-controversial, but he was my teammate. And he's also one of the best players in the world. And to coach in the NBA, you need one of the best players in the world. It's Luka.
I'm from Dallas. That's why I was hoping to say Luka. And, you didn't actually really play for us, but, sure.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't.
So you
I had
got
a fucking partial tear in my Achilles. What do you want me to do?
I was saying we could have used you. That's all.
So does it heal? You just had it heal naturally?
No, it's still there. So basically, I have something called haglins in my right heel, which is an overgrown heel bone. So my heel bone looks like a golf ball.
Whoa.
Oh, wow.
And so just through wear and tear, playing for so long, the bone started pressing into the Achilles insertion. So when I went down to New Orleans that year, it had been bothering me all fall. They did like full tendon scans, knees, ankles, all that stuff. And the guy was like, you have a partial tear in your Achilles.
Oh, wow.
And so I tried to rehab it and I tried to play through it. I did PRP in New York over All-Star break. That's right before I got traded to Dallas, which is why I didn't join the team for like a week because I was still rehabbing here. And the PRP didn't help. And that was part of retirement too, honestly. They were like, the surgery is not the same as a full Achilles repair, but it is like 4 to 6 months. They literally shave your heel bone down. Wow. And then my bursa sac has inflammation. So they clean up the bursa sac and then repair the shredded part of the Achilles.
But the Achilles part that's torn.
That's part of the reason I don't play pickup though.
Oh, really?
I'm terrified to tear my Achilles or my
That's
calf.
what I was about to say.
I
So you
can
can't
get-
even
I
play
can get a
paddle
point
with
on
this.
that.
Oh, I'm giving you buckets, bro. Yo.
It's half court, one-on-one.
No, I'm not going to do
To
this to you.
7.
I've already taken out one guy's ankle. You know what I mean? Every guy from Duke with a busted foot, comes across me and it's bad news.
I mean, disrespect.
Guys, I have other work to do.
How did the pod with LeBron come to fruition?
Yeah.
And is it intimidating to sit across from one of the greats ever and talk the game, or do you feel completely comfortable just
Greats
chopping?
ever in anything.
Yeah.
It's not intimidating. I've known Braun now like 24, 25 years.
Wow.
We met when we were like 15 or 16 at USA basketball camp. It's funny because I've never hung out with LeBron. Like he's not my boy.
Oh, I thought you guys were friends and that's how the pod came about.
Like we've always had like a mutual respect, great interactions. Like it's not like I'm not going on vacation with his family. I'm not like going over to his house for dinner.
Oh, you don't have a dap with him? Like,
No, it's like
special daps?
always been a mutual level of respect for as players. I mean, like, and so we saw each other in December with the folks on his side and just had a conversation, and that kind of just got the ball rolling.
So he
it was
picked you or you picked him? Can't say.
There's no good answer to that.
Really? Seems like there's a great answer. Okay, so this thing comes together. The first episode, we've seen the first episode, which is actually half of what has been filmed. So there's another episode coming out. The first episode, do you know you have a hit? Like when 15, 20 minutes into the conversation, you're going, oh, this is the most fun and this is going to be crazy?
Yeah.
Or, okay, immediately.
Yeah, immediately.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And by the way, the second episode's like, so we recorded, the plan is to sort of record 2 episodes at a time.
Yeah.
The second part of the conversation was the part where like you're in the room and you're like floating
Oh,
because
wow.
it's so pure.
Flow
You know what I
state,
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny, Jason Gallagher, who's our head of production and has been with us since day one on the Old Man and the Three, since we started this company. He's listened to fucking, I don't even know now, 220 episodes of the Old Man and the Three, plus all the shit we do for DraftKings. He's been in every conversation. And he texted me afterwards and he's like, dude, he's like, I was floating today. That's the best shit we've ever recorded.
It was amazing.
And I'm like,
No, it's fire.
Yeah, I was like,
So by the time this is out, episode 2 will most likely be out.
yeah, it'll, yeah.
And you listen on all listening platforms, but I would watch the YouTube video. That's what I've
YouTube
been
video, I think, is the most instructive. Yeah.
I think you need to see the graphics to understand what you guys are talking about. And I like how you're not watering it down.
Yeah.
I love that. Like, raise the level of intellect of the audience.
Yeah. Is there
You know?
anything that surprised you hanging with him? Like you guys hadn't hung out a ton before, but now you guys are face to face talking about the game. Is there anything that surprised you about the way
Well, I
he
had the dinner with him in
dissects it?
December.
Is there anything the way he dissects the game that surprised you?
No, nothing surprised me. I think what is interesting is, you know, we typically have seen LeBron in a press conference, right, when he's talking. And to get him in that setting, it's just like he's awesome. Like he's awesome at it.
Yeah, you're
He's
both.
awesome at it.
Yeah.
I think you're both excellent, and yeah, it's you guys don't have to explain yourself. When you talk to us about basketball, you have to. It's the same thing if we're going to talk like comedy to anybody. Like we have to kind of dumb down what we're saying. You're talking to someone who knows exactly what you're talking about, probably specific plays. You can reference a play of his from some playoff game that you are watching, and he knows the exact play. There's way less fluff, and it's really. I think you're going to see a lot more of this in not just basketball, but all avenues.
Change the trajectory.
Yeah.
By the way, there's nothing wrong with the sugar. I want to be like I was talking about it earlier. There's nothing wrong with the sugar. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
No.
I'm not against the sugar. I like sugar too. I'm on Twitter. Like I like the sugar. The sugar's fun sometimes.
But this
The
is
sugar's fun
sugar
sometimes.
for people who love basketball.
Sometimes too much sugar becomes toxic.
Right. Well said.
Yeah.
What are we talking about now?
Just like
talking about substance.
Commentators that are super entertaining.
guys who are sports analysts, like I'm a sports analyst, where you're just kind of watching and just saying things.
But that's awesome too. Like they're
entertaining. You
so
need both.
fun. Like you look at a guy.
It's amazing. I work with Stephen A.
I was about to say, he's incredible.
He's amazing.
And you want that. I want that. Sometimes I just want to hear crazy hot takes. They might be true. They might not be true. Who gives a fuck? I enjoy that as well. But there is a time and place when you see people who are obsessed with a thing. It doesn't have to be basketball. It can be two nerds talking about robots. But they're obsessed with the thing, and they're just talking to each other about that thing, and they don't care who's listening, and that's what it feels like. It doesn't feel like you guys care who's listening. And because of that, I want to listen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know exactly what you're saying.
Are you going to try to bait him into the GOAT talk about himself?
I have a feeling.
He
I have a
literally
really
in the
feeling
setup, he's like, "We're not talking about who the greatest is. We're not."
I know, but
Your phone
Episode
flashed.
3, it's
I think
top
the other
5.
thing, like, there's an element of what has become not only the take industry, but the second take industry.
Everybody's chasing.
No. Meaning like the reaction to the take.
Oh, it's all
That's like, and then there's the reaction to the reaction.
Bro, that's all YouTube is
like,
becoming.
I don't want this to be reactionary. I certainly will react to what's happening on the basketball court.
Yeah.
But it's not.
Your phone flashed.
Sorry.
You want to be.
reactionary.
It will be reacted to.
Yeah.
But you want to create the source. The source material is always better to create than reacting to the thing or reacting to the reaction.
Just like basketball.
Yeah.
Like outside of my kids and my wife, it's the thing I love the most.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
just-
yeah. Go watch.
Yeah,
Go
yeah.
watch. Everybody go now watch. Guys, JJ REDICK is in the motherfucking
Amazing.
building. Thank you, my
Thank
boy.
you so much.